Hola, and welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast, number 2 on the charts, number 1 in your hearts. I'm your host, Wesley, and of course, I am joined by my cheerful co-host,
Rebekah.
And today, we're talking about Survivor 50, episode, what was this? Episode 9?
Yeah. I can't believe we're this deep into the season already.
What I was thinking.
There's still so many players, and we're so close to the end. It's crazy.
Do you remember a time when Survivor used to have 16 people in a season? That was so crazy. Now we have like,
yeah.
We're like, on those seasons, we're like 3 episodes deep, but here, no, we still got 10 people? Holy cow, man.
It's crazy.
Some seasons have merged with this number of people.
Yeah, right. But I have to say, we've been having some really solid episodes. The beginning of the season, I think, was really solid. There's been a couple of hiccups here and there, but I have to say, this week's episode, despite the outcome of the vote, I really enjoyed most of this episode. Last week's episode, I really enjoyed, pretty much all of that episode. So, we've just been getting some real, this is what Survivor's about. The fun, Jeff participating in a challenge. We'll talk about it more when we get to it, but, this was just such a fun episode. I enjoyed it so much. And you could tell that, everyone playing was having so much fun, including Jeff. And I don't know, I just love it. That's what Survivor's all about. So yeah, been a big fan recently.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is overall a good episode. It was not a perfect episode by any means. And I think only 2 episodes this season I would classify as a bust, but the rest have been, I would say from good to amazing, depending on the episode. Mm-hmm. But this one I would qualify as good. It was amazing until a point, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. So let's go through this. As always, chapter markers here on YouTube for all of you watching here. These podcasts do go up early and ad-free on Patreon. As soon as I'm done editing them, they go on Patreon. And then the next day they go on YouTube. And then whenever Spotify is like, yep, you could post it on Spotify is when it posts there. To be fair, Spotify doesn't pay any money, so I'm not overly concerned about Spotify. It goes up when it goes up eventually on there. But yes, if you want them early and you want them to know ads, because I know YouTube keeps ramping up the ads, man. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I try watching highlights of an MLB baseball game yesterday and flipping A, dude. I couldn't get through the 10 minutes without 5 ad breaks. Anyways, moving on. Just that's the insane number of ads. They really want you to pay for premium. So, all right, we start the episode and Jonathan mocks Devin's finding an idol and says this will backfire on him. But I guess not in this episode. I guess this episode he was fine. By the way, when he at Tribal, was there a reaction to him not playing the idol?
I didn't notice much of one. I mean, it cut to Devin's and he kind of smiled I'm not going to play it. But I don't know. I think it showed Jonathan right after that, but he's not I don't know. He's not maybe the most expressive person. So I didn't notice a big reaction from him, but I'm sure we're going to hear about it next week. Just based on this introduction from the beginning of this episode, when Jonathan was, kind of laying into Devin's, I imagine we're going to hear from him next week about how he feels about Devin's not playing the idol. Personally, I feel well, I guess we'll talk about it more when we get to Tribal. I don't want to jump ahead too much, but very interesting move from Devin's. But I didn't notice too big of a reaction.
So last week I was vocal that I think we were vocal that we loved the idea when they planted the idol back in episode 2, I believe. It's when they planted it. I was 10 out of 10 idea. I was the execution will have to make this work because the idea is 10 out of 10. And I think the execution last week was super sloppy. And I think we saw a lot of people's reactions to that this episode.
I mean, Joe was even talking about how Devin's kind of was just what was the word he used? Spastic? That's not the word he used, but I think that's what he was describing.
Said he looked like he was having a fit. I believe one of them said that.
Too sloppy, not chill enough. I think that's what he said. Right. Which, I don't know if I would go quite that far, but because I think, Devin's, I don't know if he mentioned it in the show or if this was something I read online, but he talked about that, in the past he's found clues for exactly where an idol is. So you do know exactly where it is. So that's kind of what he was channeling. But yeah, to your point, I think people are a little suspicious of the way that he found this idol. And also the fact that he told Emily that it's not a real idol is honestly a little baffling to me.
Oh my gosh.
Emily,
the moment he told her, I was like, why?
I think that's what's going to come back to bite him next week. I mean, right now, Like, I don't see any reason for Emily to share this information, but just given the way that she's played this season so far, like, yeah, I just can't believe that he decided to share that information with her. And I just really don't understand why. Like, if it was to make them closer or, yeah, I really don't know. But I have a feeling that secret's going to get out at some point.
I'm a bit torn on Devon's idol. So I want to acknowledge that I think it did save him and Aubry last week. So credit to that. At the end of the day, even if your gameplay is sloppy, if it saves you from being voted off when you were going to be voted off, I don't know. I think objectively that's a plus. Like, you were going to be voted off. You didn't. Smart. Plus, if it was a story video, smart. You know, I mean, like, smart on the screen, smart. And he didn't get voted off. And then this week he didn't get voted off. So he saved himself for 2 tribals on a fake idol. So in that situation, great. On the other hand, there's a target on his back, but you could argue he was going to be voted off anyways. So
right.
It's
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%. I mean, I think that Devon's did what he could with the tools that he has. I mean, I think the way that he gets out of this now is, frankly, he needs to find a real idol, which, like, that's easier said than done. But I mean,
easier.
But if anyone's going to find an idol, it's going to be him. But yeah, that being said, it's like, yeah, he saved himself for at least 2 tribals that we've seen so far. And like we've talked about on this podcast before, like, I'm always going to be a fan of people making a move, like, especially if you're going to get voted out. Like, yeah, I'd much rather see someone make a move that saves them for 2 tribals as opposed to sitting on their hands and not trying things.
Oh,
and
1000%. I prefer sloppy gameplay over sitting on your hands doing nothing.
Yeah, 100%. So even if this ultimately, like, even if he doesn't ultimately make it to the end and win, like, I still think this was a positive, and, like, yeah, he did the best with the tools that he had available.
So Joe comes up to Devon's and says, I didn't know that you had that idol. And Devon's like, you were going to vote me off.
Right.
So I got to say, this is very reminiscent. How does Devon's get in these situations is very much dependent, I think, on his social gameplay, because this is very reminiscent of his bad parts of his post-merge social gameplay on Edge of Extinction. Obviously his last time playing on that season. But, like, the bad parts of his game are being shown here again. So it's like, how did Devon's get himself into the same situation? It has to be Devon's. Like, it has to be, you know, one time is like, maybe it was an accident. Twice, it's like, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. You know, that's
Is
Devon's.
that a Taylor Swift reference?
Yes, it was.
That's incredible.
It's one of the few songs where I actually was like, yep. I'm like, irrelevant in a day-to-day life. It's like, okay, once maybe it was an accident, twice, okay, it's you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like the way Joe and Devon's like, you were gonna vote me off. So it's like, dang, dude, like, I've seen this conversation before and it was on a different season.
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting that you bring that up, because to me, like, I don't know, I wasn't necessarily thinking about that. I was thinking more about how Joe plays the game and how this is so on brand for him. Because he does, like, he plays so similarly to Coach, where it's like, there's all these rules for you, but not for me.
Yeah.
Like, you should give me all the information that you have. I don't have to share information with you. You can't lie to me, but I can lie to you. Like, that just seems very much like this honor and integrity group. Like, that's how they like to play the game. And so, to me, I was thinking, like, this is so on brand for Joe's game. So maybe, I mean, I'm sure it was just like a perfect combination of those 2 things, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was really funny when Joe was like offended. And to me, I was on Devon's side. I'm like, listen, you were going to vote for him. Why would he share information with you? But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, probably definitely 2 sides of the same coin, I guess, both of their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it during winter analysis, and we'll talk about it again tomorrow with Mass, and we'll rank all the remaining players. But even if, you know, I just don't think Joe's not winning. Like, I just can't see anybody that Joe is sitting next to, and they're like, yeah, let's vote for Joe over that person.
Yeah, now that Coach is out of the game.
At the moment, I would vote for Jonathan over Joe. And that was my other person. I was like, to drag him to the end. Like, there's no one here. Emily, maybe. But the thing is, I think part of Emily's negative edit is more like what we've seen. And again, it was pre-merge stuff, pre-merge stuff. And it's like, are people thinking about that here on day 18, day 19? Are they going to think about day 26? Mm-hmm. She needs to do something messy in the future or during the post-merge game to be relevant. Whereas all that messy stuff, like, heck, Christian's out of the game, and that was who she did the messy stuff against. Q's gone, like, Colby's gone. I think Colby's part of that, I forget.
Yeah. Like, I guess, I don't know, like, do you think Christian is the type of jury member to hold a grudge from so long ago? Like, because that's my thing is, like, yeah, would he not vote for Emily because she shared information that ultimately didn't really affect his game too much from what I recall? I mean, like, he had to scramble and, clean some things up, but, like, it didn't get him voted out, if that makes sense.
Dude, if Christian has a grudge against anybody, I don't think it's Emily right now.
Yeah, I think it's Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I mean, he did point the finger at Jeff. It wasn't like Jimmy Fallon was sitting in the hosting seat or the executive producer seat. It was
true. Yeah,
it was the person Christian was pointing the finger at, and the person receiving that finger was like, "What? Why would you blame me? What?
Yeah,
me?
Well, when he was voting, I think he said something like, I don't remember exactly what he said.
Jimmy Fallon, you owe me an apology. That's what he said.
Yeah, yeah. But I think he's been on Jimmy Fallon's show since then as part of, like, the 50 promo. So hopefully they've patched things up. But yeah, that was really funny.
Well, if Jimmy Fallon's unspoiled, and hopefully he would be, then he shouldn't have to apologize to Christian yet. But I imagine that Jimmy Fallon will apologize to Christian. That's the kind of guy Jimmy Fallon is. Like, he's not going to be Jimmy Fallon's not like so hung up on his ego and pride that he's not going to apologize. He will.
Yeah, I'm sure Jimmy Fallon was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was a good idea."
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's the type of person that he strikes me as. It's just like, "Oh, this seems cool. Let's do that,"
Something I do want to mention before we move on is that we have merchandise here. We have talked about it every week because we only got a few weeks left, and we're going to stop selling it at the end of Survivor 50. The images on screen show you the merchandise. I'm wearing mine right now. I got I'm wearing the heavyweight tee because we do have, they're called heavyweight tees for people like me who are like, I wear a 2X, okay, frankly, and I hate having to buy a shirt and not knowing if the size is going to fit me correctly. So I know with the heavyweight, 2X is perfect for me. I don't have to buy a size. I hate having to buy a size larger. It makes you feel fatter. You know what I'm saying, Rebekah? Mm-hmm. I'm over here cutting weight, and I still feel like I want to get my goal is to get down to an XL, ideally an L. I would like to get down to a large, but an XL would make me feel so much better. Anyways, if you want the merchandise, link in the description. It was designed by a human. It ships worldwide. It supports the channel. And if you send me a picture of you in our merchandise to my email, which is down in the description as well, you'll get a free month of Patreon at the highest tier. It gives you all the access to all the videos. But you must be 18 or older. That's the only restriction on that free month Patreon. But we do appreciate you all supporting the channel and buying our merchandise. It's, as I said, limited time. I'm not doing this. If we do it again, it's not going to be this design during 51. So, which, by the way, they're filming right now. I heard they're already filming 51.
Oh, yeah.
I think we talked about that last week briefly. I forgot.
Yeah, because they had to like film it in enough time for Jeff to get back for the live reunion for 50, I believe.
Right. He has to be back for the live reunion for 50. So they're filming 51 now, and I did hear through an account that turned out to be bogus. By the way, okay, so I'm not even gonna name the account because there's a couple of accounts that just like they post bogus stuff and then retract it and be like, that wasn't me. Why would you say that was me? Like, dude, I have screenshots. So anyways, an account shared that Survivor 52 was gonna be Blood vs. Water 3 with an entire like cast. And I'm like, honestly, at first I was like bogus. And then I saw that this fake cast had Annika from Survivor 47 on it. And I think I'm saying her name right. And I'm like, oh, this has to be real. Why would she be on the cast? That's what I thought. Out of everybody, like really Annika from Survivor 47?
I thought that there was, because I saw this list too. I thought there was like a fair amount of old school and new school players. Like that was my guess as to what they were trying to balance out. But the one that made me think it was fake was they had Amanda Kimmel on there. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like she's not super involved in Survivor anymore.
She was supposed to be on the season. And apparently word is, according to Coach, that she pulled out because Oscar's on the season on 50.
Oh, okay.
So she was supposed to be on 50 and then pulled out because Oscar's on it because they dated. For those that don't know, I do a video all about them dating on Micronesia and the aftermath of that. Check it out. It's a pretty good one.
Well, if Coach says it happened, then I believe it.
This is one of those situations where I actually believe Coach. If Coach talks about himself, it's hard to believe because you know how he. But like Coach is like delusional about himself. But in this situation, I don't have reason to believe that Coach is lying or like is delusional. Yeah. There's no reason for me to believe that. Coach is delusional about himself in the game. He's not usually delusional about
other people.
Things like this. This is not something I would count Coach against. Anyways, then this account like posted this, and then like a few hours later is like, I can't believe I have to say something, but this is obviously fake. You shared it. So anyways, that's my whole. So I don't think 52.
That's really funny. I'm going to start doing that. That's a good bit.
Say stuff, and then like a few hours later, be like, that wasn't me.
It's like the honor and integrity thing. It's like you say something and then you take it back and you're like, I can't believe you all are accusing me of saying this.
Perfect, because later we're going to talk about Joe here for a second doing the same thing. But I did want to mention that 52, I don't believe is Blood vs. Water 3. But to be clear, if it is any sort of theme, I hope 51's a theme. I don't know if it is yet. We'll find out later. Usually that stuff gets revealed by InsideSurvivor.com as soon as the season's done airing. If there's anything interesting, they'll post about it. Not a boot list, but like if there's a theme or a twist or something that they know about, they'll post about on there. I'm hoping 51, 52 have themes. If 52 is Blood vs. Water 3, fantastic. Let's do it. I'm on board. Let's make it happen.
I will say, for me personally, I am a big fan of themes. I think we need to bring themes back. I almost wonder.
Bring themes back.
Hashtag bring themes back. I do wonder if 52 is a returnee season. I think Blood versus Water I would be okay with if it's like 50% of the cast are new players, sort of. But I think it's maybe a little too soon. Like I would almost wait till 53, 54 to do another returnee. But that's just me personally. I don't know. I know we've gone a long time without any, so maybe they do need to like make up for it. So yeah, I don't know, but that's my 2 cents.
I will say that when they I think the only time you compare this to is if they did it again so soon is when they did Cambodia and then Game Changers, because when they did Game Changers, it was almost like, here's people we couldn't get on Cambodia. And then the season ended up being a massive flop. And I don't want them to do another returnee season so soon with people that we didn't get on 50, because I'm afraid it would be like, well, here's not the rejects, but here's like the leftovers. You know, Amanda Kimmel,
sound better.
You know what I mean? Like Amanda Kimmel's supposed to be on the season. So like, sure, but like everyone else, I guess, would have been a leftover or a reject.
I don't know if we got people like Amanda Kimmel, maybe someone like Carolyn, because I know she was in talks to be on 50, like someone who like we know they make great TV.
Jesse,
but for whatever reason, they just didn't work out for 50. Like if they could get enough people like that back, then I would be on board with it. But
everybody to comment below. Do you think 52, we don't know what it is yet, should that be any sort of returnee season at all? Either half and half, a few people, or a full blown? I don't think it'll be full blown, but let me know what you guys think. Or should we wait for 54, 56? I want to know down in the comments below. But let's move on with the analysis, Rebekah. Oscar and Rizgod, love that Devon's put a target on his back. Joe makes fun of Devon's finding the idol to Oscar and Serene. It's just like this little like rivalry Joe has with no one else is more annoyed at Devon's than Joe ever since like episode 2 when they had their little tiff.
Yeah.
Which
I have to confess, I don't even remember what the original argument was. It just seems like they've always not liked each other.
It's like a marriage, a bad marriage. Like I don't remember what we were fighting about. I just know I'm mad at you.
Yeah.
I just know I'm mad.
And they have bad communication. Yeah, yes, you're so right.
They don't communicate the same. Their love languages are not the same.
Yeah. They keep voting for each other.
Joe's is honor and integrity. That's his love language. Devon's love language is chaos. Thank you. That's exactly where I was going. Their survivor love, because like it's not the normal love languages. It's survivor love languages.
It's like
and they just don't
style,
jive.
Yeah.
Right. They just don't jive. They don't work together at all.
That's so funny.
Joe's over here like making fun of Devon's, and it's just like, this is kind of what I was expecting to happen after the idol find. I did hear, and people are going to comment it if I don't mention it, but as always, things I believe said in exit interviews or things said outside of the show's edited story to me are irrelevant to the story, because if they were important, they'd be in the story. Apparently, Emily at Tribal Council, when Devon found the idol, would not stop talking about how she thought it was a fake. But if this was relevant, it would have been in the show I watched.
And that's so interesting because if that would have been in the show, that would have completely reframed how I, as the audience, viewed when Devons tells Emily that it's a fake.
Right, because she already knew this.
Because this is the first time that I'm hearing this information. But yeah, if I had known that before seeing Devons talk to her, I would have thought, oh, Devons is trying to keep Emily from talking. He's trying to like answer her questions, calm her fears, and say like, yes, what you think is correct, please don't tell anyone. Like that would have completely reframed that for me. So the fact that it's not in the show is interesting because it's almost like a hint in the edit to, it makes Devons look, I don't know if dumb is the right word, but dumber than he actually was when he played. Like that's just an edit is kind of, shaping the way that I'm viewing his gameplay. Are
you saying them leaving that information out, if it's true, by the way, I assume it's true. Them leaving out has made him look worse or better?
It's made him look worse.
Okay.
Because now, in this episode, when I watched it without any context, and I just see him volunteering this information to Emily, who we've seen so far in the show is prone to just spreading information. To me, I'm like, okay, why did he do that? That's dumb. But if they had given us the context of, oh, Emily was already talking a lot about, hey, this is a fake idol, she's telling everyone at Tribal very publicly, then that would have reframed that conversation and made Devons look a lot smarter because he's trying to like actually keep a lid on Emily, continuing to talk about this. So again, I don't know if it's true or not. Like this is the first I'm hearing of it, but that is very interesting if true.
Something else to mention in terms of the exit interviews. One is that this is very small. One is that, remember when Joe said last week, I'm not going to vote for coach, I can't write his name down. Well, apparently he only wrote Chrissy's name down and then was told by production, no, you need to write coach's name on the parchment. So he had to go back and write coach's name on the parchment. That was just
and I think he misspelled it too, right? Like he swapped a couple of the letters around. So technically he never wrote coach's name down.
He should have wrote Benjamin. That's his name. That's his birth name, isn't it? Benjamin out here telling Chucky the Cheese jokes.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny.
Keep those jokes for me because it wasn't real. And then the other thing was I noticed that Chrissy Hoffbeck did not do exit interviews with so many people. The only ones I saw her do was with Sharon Tharp, I believe is the name, and Mike Bloom. She didn't do exit interviews with Robin's podcast or The Pod Has Spoken or really much of anybody. Nick Gordon Holmes. And I'm like, I don't understand why. And if anybody has any theories on that, comment below, because I am genuinely curious as to like, okay, at first I thought she's not doing it with any of the men because she's been very outspoken on social media about how the edit, in her opinion, is sexist. And I thought, okay, she's not gonna do, but she did it with Mike Bloom, and he's a guy. So I'm not sure what the rationale was on why she picked some and why she did some and didn't do others. I don't know. If anyone knows anything or has suspicions, I'm very interested. Comment that below because that, like, seeing somebody reject exit interviews is interesting. So I will say, foreshadowing to our trivia question, Rebekah, it will be about rejecting Survivor, but it will not be exit interviews. It'll be something else. So
okay,
it's a good one. It's a good one. I had fun.
I'm excited.
I had fun with the question this week. It's definitely a good one. So
okay, all right, nice.
All right. So Jonathan talks to Joe about pulling an Oscar, who I guess is in their minds available, but nobody really knows about the Suri Oscar Rizgod, the Wizard of Oz or whatever he said. Yeah.
The Cerise Wizard of Oz.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Because like everybody this week's just pouring things to Suri, not knowing that she has these two close allies.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is classic Suri. We've seen her do this a million times before. But yeah, it really is like, I know there was a lot that happened in this episode that really hurt Christian in ways that, I don't know, like, yeah, he didn't have much of a chance tonight. But I have to say, early in the episode, when he approaches Suri and is like, hey, we should vote out Ozzy, to me, I was like, okay, Christian's done. I mean, we've seen this happen a million times before. It's as soon as you tell Suri that you're targeting one of her alliance members,
bang, bang,
you're going to go home like that week or the next week. Like it's just crazy how much, how influential she is. So yeah, I mean, I think this is just how Suri plays the game though. Like, and Rizzo and Oscar kind of know that this is how she plays. And so I think that they've done a really good job of being her number one allies early in the game. And so they're being protected by her. So I don't think that there's a need. Like, I don't think that they feel super insecure, if that makes sense, because they know that this is how Cirie operates.
Right.
Like, she's not going to spend all her time hanging out with her number one alliance members, but she will protect you. So, yeah, classic Cirie.
This Cirie Oscar Rizgod is, in my opinion, a high likelihood of, I don't know about being the final three, but being the final three. I mean, like, it's a high likelihood that they run the table at the end. You have another threesome with Stephanie and Jonathan and Joe, which is also likely as well. And honestly, that would be kind of, if that was the final three, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, from a story perspective, I feel like we've gotten so much more from Ozzy, Cirie, and Rizzo, just in terms of like story arcs.
Right.
So yeah, I would not be too surprised if this was our final three, or at least like final four, because of how the like final four fire making works.
And while we don't know for sure if it's been voted, at the way everything's been voted for this season, I have no doubt that fire making is back. Let's be real.
Yeah.
The fans voted for whatever they've been doing in the new era. If they had done this vote, I think for 41, 42, it would have been wildly different. But because it's been like, okay, what have I seen on my TV screen for the last 6 years? I don't even remember these other things. Yeah, let's vote for whatever I've been seeing lately. I think was the general, and by that I mean the casual audience's votes. Yeah. Dynamic. Yeah. Vote for all these things that are worded in a way I like. And so I have no doubt fire making is this season. No doubt. Zero doubt.
Yeah, that is a really good point. I was actually talking to my dad the other day, and he was telling me about how much he loves that people are losing their votes on Journeys. And I thought that was really interesting, because I think my dad would probably describe himself as like a pretty casual viewer. Like, he just started watching last year, I think.
That's casual.
So it is. Yeah. It's very interesting to like see the show through his perspective. And yeah, he was like, yeah, it adds an extra layer. Like, I love it when people can't vote. So yeah, It was interesting to hear his perspective on that.
So your dad and 8-year-olds are what Jeff's targeting.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And if a lot of people who voted align with how my dad thinks, then yeah, that makes sense of how people voted.
I didn't even knowing my dad, he didn't vote on any of this stuff.
Sure.
Knowing my dad, he votes in political elections, but I can't see my dad caring enough about, even though he's watched every season, caring enough to go on there and vote, if that makes sense. Like, this is, so he's the other side of the casual audience who just watches the show, and like that's the most amount of engagement he does. Like, he knows that I do a podcast about the show, and I believe the only conversation we've had about Survivor while I've been running this channel was one time during 47. He asked me who I thought was going to win, and I said, well, do you want to know who's going to win, or do you want to know who I want to win? Because those are two different answers. He's like, oh no, never mind. Because this is, but he asked me this deep enough in the season where we kind of had figured out that Rachel, she had it in the bag. So it was like, want me to,
yeah,
like, it's hard for me to answer this one, Dad. So that was the only time. Maybe I should have just answered who I want to win, and we would have talked about it. But, in retrospect, what am I going to do about that? Anyways, so that's about his engagement with the show, though. So that's like two sides of the casual coin. And for those wondering about the 8-year-old reference, that's because Jeff on his podcast said, I'm making the show for 8-year-olds. So there you go. That's
and as evidenced by our tease for next week, Mr. Beast is going to be here.
Mr. Beast makes his show for 8-year-olds as well.
I mean, he really does. Yeah. So there you go. It comes full circle.
Next week, I will give you my comprehensive is the wrong word. I'll give you my comparison of a Hershey bar versus a Mr. Beast bar, because Mr. Beast promotes that his chocolate's better than Hershey, which, by the way, is not a very high bar, but he promotes that it's better than Hershey. And so me, Mary, and our, in this case, 6-year-old nephew, all tried it. And I gave my 6-year-old nephew zero context as to which chocolate he was eating. I didn't say this is Mr. Beast chocolate. I just said, here's the one from the blue wrapper. Here's the one from the black wrapper. And he didn't know. So like, his is as unbiased as can be. Me and Mary were a little biased, but I did try to like eat both of them and think to myself, okay, which one tastes better? Like without thinking about who made them. So we'll do that next week. I'll talk about that next week. And I believe Mary's podcasting with us next week on Winner Analysis, so we can give her own opinion on there as well. But anyways, so Jonathan talks to Joe about pulling an Oscar. We get our Aubry segment for the episode, and I do mean the Aubry segment for the episode, because Aubrey's nowhere the rest of the episode, in my opinion. She says, I want to distance myself from Devins. And she says, this game is all about me, and I do mean business. And then the rest of the episode, where's Aubry? Kind of like, where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Where's Aubry? I'm a little confused on this, Rebekah. On one hand, I'm like, wow, they're going out of their way to make Aubry look good. But on the other hand, I'm like, is this like a Sophie B situation where she's just sitting on her hands doing nothing?
Yeah, I mean, I think this moment was very interesting to me, because what comes right before this is a confessional from Cirie, where she lists everyone that she's working with, and it's pretty much everyone except for Aubry and Tiffany. And
but Cirie later is sitting with Tiffany on a log.
Right, and yes, that is fair. Like later in the episode, Cirie and Tiffany talk to everybody about who they're voting for, and it seems to be the two of them talking to everybody. So like, yeah, I don't really know. But I did think that was interesting framing and kind of an interesting order to show things, because to me, again, like I'm trying not to be too biased towards Cirie, because I know I just love watching her play. So like,
no,
there's a personal bias there, but I do think like so much of this season, in a way, we're seeing it through Cirie's eyes. And like, this is an example where it's like, okay, we're seeing Cirie talk about that she's working with everyone except for Aubry and Tiffany. And then, yeah, we hear from Aubry, but then it doesn't seem like Aubry is super involved in the decision of who to vote for tonight. Now, of course, like you pointed out that, you know, Tiffany was, so maybe that undercuts my point, but I don't know. Yeah, that my worry with Aubry this whole time has been that her story was going to get weaker once Genevieve left. And now that Genevieve's gone, I feel like we haven't heard hardly anything from Aubry in the, like, since then, just story-wise. So, yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunately making things not look great for Aubry at the moment.
Yeah, to me, this segment with Aubry reminds me of episode 2, when I pointed out that it really felt unnecessary for us to see everyone look through Aubrey's bag and find nothing. Like that was an unnecessary segment unless you were setting up Aubry as underdog. This to me feels unnecessary. Like Aubry means business. Okay, so are we setting up that Aubry, because remember this episode, in my opinion, from what I saw on the edited show, Aubry had next to no impact on this vote tonight. She was just part of the vote. So we're either setting up that Aubry is a 0 vote finalist kind of deal, sits on her hands, says nothing, or gets second. I mean, Sophie B got second, and we said all last season that she was, I mean, in my opinion, Sophie B had all the potential, and then was like, oh, God told me not to vote out Savannah. You know what I mean? Like, but still got second. But at the end of the day, she still got 100K plus the 10K reunion bonus. Nothing to sneeze at. Hey, I want to be clear. If I won Survivor and I finished in second, roast me all you want. I got second. Like I got 100K.
Yeah.
That's a nice chunk of money. And I'm sure they get more from others. I'm sure she got more money than just the 100K and the 10K from the reunion. I mean, I feel like Survivor players do well enough or are popular enough, they get deals and stuff. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know all the time.
Well, even poor Tiffany had to start her own YouTube channel just so she could have confessionals this season, but I think it's going pretty well. I mean, yeah, she seems to be getting views and everything. So like, yeah, I think there's many avenues for people who play the show.
Right. And Tiffany has learned the golden rule of make your content longer because YouTube will pay you more money, because I noticed her videos have been getting longer. It's true. It's true. There's a reason why it used to be people would make really short videos. And then you've noticed if you go on YouTube lately, it's like you can't watch a video without it being 10 minutes or longer, it seems like. And there's the reason is because more money. I mean, frankly.
For me personally, I frankly want to put on a video and not have to make another decision in 10 minutes about my next video is going to be. So if it's like 20 minutes, I'm debating. I prefer videos that are closer to an hour personally. So yeah, I think you see that.
Which sounds like a joke, but I know you're being legit. Yeah.
No, I'm being dead serious. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, it's like reading through the audience questions for tonight. I got some good ones.
Nice.
So anyways, this whole section with Aubry just has me like, I'm not sure which way to go with it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's a good thing or if it's like we're setting up the Aubry's talking a game but not really doing a game.
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of this?
I mean, on the flip side, I will say at least we heard from her this episode. Like, it wasn't like she was totally ignored. Like, even though she didn't necessarily have a big impact on the vote, we still got some Aubry content. So, like, for whatever that's worth, you know, it's keeping her present in the story. So, yeah, for better or for worse. Yeah, we'll see what it means in the next couple weeks, I guess.
Well, I know we said this was going to happen, so let's talk about it. Joe I think this might be the first time Joe has lied this season that we have seen. Joe lies to Devins that he was never voting for him.
Mm-hmm.
So who was Joe going to vote for? Because Devins has an idol supposedly, and Joe's like, well, I can't vote for Coach, which meant that, Joe, you were going to vote for Devins.
Right.
By the way, Joe could have voted for anybody, but he still voted for Coach.
Yeah, he could have just thrown his vote away.
Yeah, and then blamed it on somebody else because there's so many votes. Like there's just so many people.
There was so much going on at that tribal too. You could just be like, "Oh, I got flustered." You could pull an Aubry and be like, "I forgot. I don't know. Like I forgot who I was voting for. I just blacked out, and there was a name on the parchment. I don't know."
Just pull an Adam on Wings of War. Oh, I don't even know where the torch goes in the ground. Just like play really dumb. Play really dumb.
Yeah.
Like you didn't already win Survivor dumb. Oh, what? Where's the torch go? Oh, I didn't know. Was I supposed to play my idol? Yeah, you got to play really dumb. I don't think Joe, though, is going to be acting in a Tyler Perry show. So I was about to say maybe he's not that good of an actor, but he has to be good enough. He got cast. I think he's legit. I don't know what kind of role he is.
Interesting.
But I don't think it's a one episode thing. I think he's like a recurring role on a Tyler Perry show.
That's so funny that you mentioned that because at the Ron Clark event a couple weeks ago, Joe was there and also Tyler Perry was there and they were like sitting next to each other. I had no idea that they had any sort of connection outside of just being at this event together, but that's very interesting.
Next time you go to an event, Rebekah, I can fill you in on everything. You'll be like, what? That's strange. I'll be like, actually, it's because blah, 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 blah. And you're like, you won't even know what's happening at the event. You'll just be getting, it's like when you watch a movie and you're like, okay, I'm going to watch it again, but now with the director's commentary. I could be the director's commentary of the event you're happening at live. I could do that.
Honestly,
it would be annoying, but I could do it.
That sounds a little overwhelming. I think I might get overstimulated.
You can say, Wesley, pause, and I'll pause. So like a director's commentary, you could pause me.
Or I have you on the phone the whole time, but you're muted and you don't know that you're muted. So you're just talking.
No.
I just keep you muted the whole time.
I'm at the event with you in this case. I need to know. I need to know if you're listening. I need to see facial reactions to read what to say. All right. Anyway, so Joe lies.
A little harder to mute you IRL.
Right. Exactly. See, that's the game plan. Joe lies to Devins. He's never voting for him. Like, and Devins like, dude, come on. Like, this is a lie. Joe and Devins, who's going to win this battle? This is our post-merge Genevieve versus Aubry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the closest thing.
It's really interesting that you ask that because, honestly, I don't mean this in terms of, like, them as people, but in terms of, like, who's going to win this battle. I feel like they're both going to lose. Like, I feel like they're both losing in the sense that Devins, I think, is in trouble as soon as people find out that the idol of his is fake.
They gotta think it is, right? After you didn't play it.
But the show is painting Devins as the more correct one in this argument with Joe. Like, it's painting Joe, like, we're seeing the lie. We're seeing the way that he's, like, his confessional, he's pretending to be so offended that, like, Devins doesn't believe him. He's like, I'm so bitter and, like, I'm so proud of myself for controlling that. And it's like, what do you have to be bitter about? Devins is just realizing that you're lying to him. So it's like, I don't know, they're kind of both being painted. Like, I would say Joe is being painted in a bad light, but Devins, I don't know how he gets out of this with this fake idol. Again, unless he finds a real idol and then is able to play that and save himself. So I don't know. I'm kind of worried they're both going to lose at this point, to be honest.
I thought Devins was going out this week. I put half my votes on fantasy on him this week.
Yeah, he's not in a great spot.
No.
So I think, like, Joe may outlast him. I guess if that's your question of, like, who's going to last longer in the game.
I'm afraid you're right.
I would lean towards Joe, but I don't know that the way he's playing is in a way that's going to win him the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well. Well, that's a bit unfortunate if Joe does win, but Devins has kind of done this to himself. Some of this is, how did you play last time? I mean, it always is. And I do think, I know there was some like, oh, Aubry and Devins played in the last season together, but like Aubry was voted off 4th. If anything, I'm not too concerned about Aubry's threat level. Really not. Game changer, she made to 5th, but she was a nobody that season in the story. And then like story wise, what we saw on the show. And then Edge of Extinction, she goes up pre-merge. The only time she's been a legit threat was her first season. And I mean, there's been 2 seasons in between. I just feel like people are hung up on how Devins played last time. It's been brought up multiple times. People are like, Devins is a threat. He wants, even Jonathan at the beginning of this episode's like, oh, Devins finally got his idol. Like, it's all mocking. I'm like, oh, this is what Devins does best, is chaotic, finds an idol.
And it's interesting because I don't think we've heard people talk much about the way that Joe played in his previous season.
Right.
But you can clearly tell that, like, because I think we've talked about this before, but his season finished airing shortly before they went out to film 50.
1 week.
Yeah. So I think he still has a lot of, I don't know if bitterness is the right word or how he would describe it, but like he's still feeling a lot of feelings about his season. Like it's still very fresh in his mind.
Duped,
and I think,
remember, by Kyle and Camilla, he talked about the season. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he's talked about the season. I think you can see it as well in the way that he's playing, that he is just like, I don't know what the word is. He's playing like more emotionally maybe. So yeah, like I think although people are not talking about how much his season is like impacting the way he's playing this season, I think we can see it. Like we can see how that season is still very much fresh in his mind and very much impacting the way he's playing this season.
Yeah. Just so Christian tries to do damage control to save Devins. And all Christian's doing is burying himself deeper.
I mean, he did save Devins technically. Well,
that's
I
true.
don't know if he should get the credit for that or if Suri should, but
I mean, multiple
digress.
factors definitely went into this whole Christian thing. So he tries to damage control Steph and Jonathan. Jonathan's like, I can't trust Christian. He just lies right to your face. And I was like trying to think, is there a time in the season Jonathan's lied to anybody's face? And I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I guess he lied to Christian when he voted him off tonight. But before that, prior to that, remember in the story though, it's justified. They've justified Jonathan's decision. Christian lies right to Jonathan's face. Jonathan has to vote off Christian. He doesn't have a choice. It's been justified.
Didn't he was pretty instrumental in the D vote, right?
Was that a trick? Did he lie to her? I forget.
I think he might. I forget. I need to watch that episode again.
It helps whenever I make story videos, I always end up watching every episode that players in a matter of a day and a half. So yes, I do. It's crazy because I make a story video. Like, it's hard to be factually incorrect when you just binge the entire season and you can pause it and take notes. It's like, that's what the story videos are. It's like I take intense notes and it's like I can pause and like get timestamps and everything. It gets so detailed, but like when we do these podcasts, like, yeah, I haven't watched the D episode since it aired,
Yeah. And we just like watch it once and then, because to me, I'm like, I almost don't want to, like, I want to continue the momentum of this season and just be like, okay, let's just see the whole thing play out.
Correct.
Without going back and overanalyzing.
Yeah.
But then later it is fun to go back and overanalyze.
Once the season's done, wrapped up, and you know where things are headed, I feel like it helps a lot. That's so, even if I think I know who's going to win a season, I won't start on their winner video until I know for a fact, number one, they won. But also sometimes I don't know if something that happens this season is going to be important or unimportant. Like, is this leading to something that I need to like take note of, like in episode 2, like, or episode 1? Like, hey, is this important to the overall story? Because sometimes they'll just put stuff in just because it's good for that episode, or
or especially with 90-minute episodes, sometimes it's like, oh, this was just a funny moment or something,
right?
Which is nothing wrong with that, but it's like, yeah, maybe not as important to the story.
For example, I'm working on Wentworth's video right now from Cambodia. And there's like a time in episode, I think 5, she's throwing Terry Dietz under the bus to her alliance. And it's like, this is what I mean when we analyze the episodes. Like, sometimes you just can't tell if this is gonna be important. She's throwing him under the bus and it seems like, oh man, she's burning Terry Dietz. Like, she says he's looking for an idol, but actually Wentworth has an idol in her pocket. So she's lying to these people. But then Terry Dietz gets pulled for a medical emergency at the beginning of the next episode. So it's like, that was ultimately a pointless scene to the overall story. It shows you what she was doing, sure, but it didn't matter because he got medically evacuated. So it's like sometimes I like when I watched during the season, like this episode, I was like, all right, like that's what I'm saying about the Aubry thing. Like, is this relevant or is this like, like what is this? There's no follow up in this episode, so maybe next episode 10, are we pulling Erica season 41 where it's like I'm going from a lamb to a lion, but like she didn't do that until episode 10, you know?
Yeah. Well, hey, next week is episode 10. And Mr. Beast has a super beware advantage, so who knows?
Or
something crazy could happen.
Is Aubry pulling Michelle Fitzgerald, who I also have a video for, where Michelle Fitzgerald was basically, I mean, the jury literally said to her face, like, hey, if somebody told me 3 tribals ago that you were going to win, I would have said nonsense, like garbage. But as the season ended, you got stronger and the other 2 got weaker. Mm-hmm. So maybe Aubry's like, I learned from Michelle. I got to end the season strong. Don't worry about the first 2/3. Very possible.
Yeah. Well, and because we've seen it happen time and time again. I mean, a recent example I think of is Genevieve, where it's like if you play too strong too early in the game, that can be detrimental for you. So yeah, I mean, frankly, it is better to just survive, just skate by as much as you can early in the game and then have a really strong like conclusion to the game. So if Aubry can do that, then yeah, she's got a great shot at winning for sure.
Right. It's just when I see scenes that feel ultimately like, okay, this didn't pay off this episode. Where are we going with this? That's why I'm always like, okay, is this a Wentworth throwing Terry Dietz under the bus moment? Or is this, actually, or is this kind of like, the Aubry Genevieve moment in episode 2 where it's like, okay, this actually did lead to something. It did.
Right.
It led to, there was a whole storyline. So, all right. So John feels like Christian is a liar. Christian's shot. Okay. So Christian's like, I could give Jonathan my shot in the dark. I did with Oscar and it worked out. And I gotta say that confessional felt like it came from 4 different sources. It was so choppy. Christian says one thing, he says one word, he says one more word, and then he says it worked out last time or something like that. It's like, dude, that was like 4 different confessionals they chopped together.
Yeah.
It was so choppy.
You're telling me they manipulate confessionals in the edit?
No way.
Oh
they would never do that.
The illusion is shattered.
Oh no. It's almost like they're trying to tell an edited story. Jonathan, of course, wants Christian out. Christian wants Oscar out. And he tells Suri, dude, where's Q? Where's the Q commentary on an episode? They used to do that on the DVDs. Mistake. The DVDs used to have commentary from players. I need a Survivor 46. I don't even need it on DVD. Just do it on Paramount Plus. Q commentary for every episode.
Yes, 100%.
For 46.
Frankly, even if Q just like this feels like a side quest that Q would do. Like it would be great to have it for 46. Honestly, even great to have it for seasons that he's not on. Just any season. I want a Q commentary. Who's making the big mistake right now? And like, I think it would be funny too if obviously for past seasons, but also for new seasons as they're airing. So like he doesn't know who wins. And so he might be saying things are big mistakes and then later it pans out and it wasn't a big mistake.
What I'm trying to say is that it would be really funny to have like, I do think Paramount Plus should have it as an option to have like some sort of commentary. Like they have so many behind the scenes stuff that's locked away on the DVD unless you're going to spend $30 a season like I have. You're not gonna have access to all this stuff. And there's so much, guys. There's so much more than I've put in my videos. But it'd be really fun. The moment this happened, I thought if Q was here, he'd say that was a big mistake. What Christian made a mistake. That's how he would say it. Christian tells Suri this about Oscar. Can't do that. Can't be targeting her number 1, number 2. And also Christian's like, he who shall not be named. What is Oscar Voldemort now?
That was so ominous. I was like, does he not want to call him Oscar? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
I was confused by that. I also want to know though, because it's almost like, I don't know, Survivor's not necessarily fair. So I don't know if it's, I can say like, this is not fair, but like, it does suck that I don't think Christian had a chance because no one knows, supposedly, or at least not many people know how close Suri is to Ozzy. Because I think if Christian knew that Ozzy was Suri's number 1, he never would have said that to her. Yeah. But because he didn't know, he just thinks like, oh, this is another player. And so it's like he's digging his own grave and he doesn't even know it, which is unfortunate. But I don't know. That's how Survivor works, I guess.
It is like, that just shows you the kind of game Suri is playing though, where she just has people telling her stuff and they don't even know who she's connected to in this case. So Christian, who's pretty smart, pretty observant, telling Suri this, not knowing Oscar and Suri are tight, even though I gotta say, people kind of caught on to that in the first couple episodes, but I guess they've done enough to where people aren't thinking about it so much anymore. Because it was early on, it seemed like she's like, Oscar's trying to save Suri, or Suri's trying to save Oscar. I forgot which direction it was going. Remember that, like episode 1 and 2, but it's been so long.
Yeah. Yeah, I do remember that now that you're mentioning it, but I don't think anyone has really suspected that she's working closely with Rizzo, from what I recall. So either way, I mean, yeah, definitely keeping it on the down low, which is also so funny too, because like last week when Suri got back from exile and Oscar was like, oh, thank goodness I was about to do something really stupid. And we even heard from Christian, he was like, thank goodness Suri's here to tell us how to vote or whatever he said. Like, it truly is. Everyone is just waiting to hear from Suri how they should play this game. Yeah. And so, yeah, like that. My point with that being that I think as much as Oscar is leaning on Suri, and we've seen that he is also her number one, but I think, like you were saying, Suri's social game is so masterful that I think a lot of people have Suri as their number one, even if they're not her number one, if that makes sense. So like Christian is thinking he's closer with Suri, whereas with Suri, like she said tonight, Christian's number 3. You know, Oscar and Rizzo are her number ones, and then Christian's number 3, but he didn't realize that.
There's a hierarchy, and he didn't know where he stood.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And that's what a good player does. A good player has people feeding them information, and now you know they're digging themselves a grave. Because Suri tells Oscar what Christian said, and then Suri tells Jonathan, hey, Christian's talking about you or Oscar. And Jonathan's like, nope. Jonathan's got some power this season, by the way, in the scene. At least that's how the show's portraying it. It's like Jonathan's, I mean, he's the head of his 3-man alliance, basically. Yeah. Him, Joe, and Stephanie, he's leading it. And I feel like if those 3 go to the final 3, I was going to say this earlier, if those 3 go to the final 3, at the moment, I feel like Jonathan wins. Between those 3.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we go to the immunity challenge, Rebekah, and it's revealed. The thing I will say that I think this will be a more fun for those who don't know it's coming. If you go, like, let's say somebody starts watching Survivor or is just catching up, watches 50 watching 50 unspoiled, meaning they don't know this moment's going to happen because it was promoted all week. And of course we saw it in the preview for 50 that Jeff was going to compete in a challenge. So I think this is a lot of fun. Jeff's like, I need 5 of you to sit out. Or sorry, I'm so used to how they used to do it. I need 5 of you to do a side bet with me where if I beat even one of you, you don't get rice, but if all of you beat me, you get this bag of rice. And he even teased the knife, by the way, and I'm glad he acknowledged, because the knife on 45 was fantastic.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Out of all the rice negotiations, that's the only one I liked during the new era. But well, I really like the one where they gave up their shots in the dark. But yes, well,
continue.
we only like when the show does something dumb and the players show how dumb it is, and that's what that was.
Yes.
But I'm saying the show made a good decision stabbing the bag of rice, and the show made a good decision having Jeff compete, because man, oh man, was it a lot of fun. Now, what Jeff did, by the way, what the heck is this? Jeff's like, okay, I'll let just 4 of you do it. Jeff wanted to do this challenge so bad. They could have been like, Jeff, what if only 2 of us do it? You know what I mean? Like, that's the rate it was going. Like, I think they could have convinced Jeff to do less people.
Yeah, they didn't set up that whole like station for him to do the challenge just for him to not compete in this challenge. Like, I kind of have a feeling Jeff was going to do this either way. But that being said, I don't know. I loved this moment. Like, I just love the theatrics of it. Like when he like shows that there's a bag of rice, and then he's like, oh, there's something else, and he walks over to the box, and they're all like, what's in the box?
Just unfolds like that.
And then just throws it to the ground like that. This was just a very fun moment. I loved the challenge. I loved all the heckling. I love the montage. Like, there's so much to talk about here.
Through the end of this immunity challenge, this episode was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Yep. Yeah, this entire thing, and I want to be clear, if rice negotiations was always this way, where it's some challenge where a certain number of people beat Jeff, it would be a little tired by this point, but as long as the challenge is always different, I would be locked in. I would be like, yes, I'm so glad we're doing this. This is such a great idea. As long as the challenge is not this, like they're not doing this bucket challenge every time. It has to be something different that they're competing against Jeff. I think this is a 10 out of 10 idea, and they should do it again. Like, no question about it. If you have to do rice negotiations, this is the way to do it. Always do something like this. Do something where you have to beat Jeff. If it's everyone's doing an individual puzzle, Jeff has to do the puzzle too. That kind of deal. I'm afraid that the puzzle could be a little different though, because like, not that I think Jeff is involved in making the puzzle, but he could have an advantage of, well, Jeff could have practiced this one. He can't, practicing the bucket's not going to do you any good. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be a challenge. Right. I feel like where no practice could have been done that could help you. So like when they stand on the beam and balance something on a pole, like Jeff does that one. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 out of 10. This should be an every season thing. I will not get tired of it as long as the challenge is different. It's a different, because I want to see Jeff compete in challenges. Obviously. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what made this so much fun. Just being in the challenge. He's being fun about it. He's being jovial. He's talking a little smack. He did beat 4 people. He beat Rizgod, Emily, Devins, and Sari. Yep. Rizgod, by the way, 25. Jeff's over here like 61, I think. I forget his age exactly.
I mean,
dude.
Yeah, I hate to talk bad about your boy Rizzo, but
he's not good in challenges.
Kind of notoriously bad at challenges.
Yes,
great at the social side of things. Yeah. And like, frankly, it kind of doesn't matter that he's bad at challenges. But yeah, when he dropped first, I was like, not that surprised.
Bro, you couldn't even beat Jeff. Jeff went 7.5 minutes, which means Rizgod went like what, 2?
If that. Yeah.
Because Sari outlasted Sari, notorious for not being good at challenges either, beat 3 other people.
I mean, Sari beat Devins, which I was kind of surprised by. I expected him to last a little longer, especially because his neck's kind of on the line right now.
Sari's the only person here who I can't knock for losing to Jeff, because like they're actually pretty close in age. Also, Sari's just like, she doesn't look like, but like when Stephanie was like worried about being Jeff, and then like, of course, Joe's like face is like, oh my gosh, what is this? Jeff, can I beat Jeff? As Joe like didn't move an inch during that challenge. If David was here, they would have been doing it another hour at least.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of this challenge tonight, like if you compared how much rope Joe had wound up compared to how much Jonathan had, Ozzy had towards the end, I was like, they're trying to build tension of like, oh, it's between Ozzy and Joe.
Oscar getting his 9th overall win.
But like, no, Oscar was toast. I mean, Joe was so solid. He was doing it one-handed for a while. It was just like, yeah, he's chilling.
I remember that being the best immunity challenge, and yes, it was because my favorite David won. But it was also really fun to see people go a really long time. Like I like when the record is broken because the show seems to be so against challenges lasting longer than 7.5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like they want the challenges to end quick. And when 2 people are so good at a challenge that has to go longer, I'm like, yes, let's do this. Oscar held out as long as he could, but it was no record tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I just had, I don't know if there's a way to do this well, but I worry that at some future season, they're going to have Jeff participate. And it's like when Jeff is out of the challenge is over, whatever that means. So like, maybe they could do that for a reward challenge. Like everyone who beats Jeff gets
the reward.
To go to the sanctuary or whatever it is. 1 dry hot dog, you know.
I'm actually totally for a reward challenge that doesn't have to do with rice, where you just beat Jeff and you get to on reward.
Yeah, that would actually be fun. I would be on board with that.
Because Jeff didn't draw. It wasn't like Jeff was out first. If Jeff was out first, I'd be like, a little bit of a bust. But the fact that he beat 4 people is what made it fun. Rizgod went out, Emily went out, Devin went out. I was like, shoot, dude, this is real. Like Jeff is out here trying. Because if Jeff had dropped first, I'd be like, he threw it. That's what I would have thought. He threw it. No, he did not throw it. 4 people dropped. Jeff was not throwing.
I also want to ask, because when they were talking about this up top, people were saying like, oh, Jeff, you have an unfair advantage. You've eaten recently.
You showered. And
also, you had a shower? I was like, the food thing I get. Because I told, like, yes, when you're well-fed, even like well-rested, like saying, hey, you've been sleeping a full 8 hours every night. Like, there's so many things you could bring up, but him taking a shower, I was like, what does that have to do with how good you are at this challenge? I don't know. Maybe there is a correlation, but I couldn't think of one.
You feel good. You look good. You smell good. I guess you do good in challenges. Who knows?
Sure. It's a confidence thing.
Sari at one point, I know there's a lot of talking while Jeff was competing. It was so funny because one point while Jeff was competing, Sari's like, Jeff, you're safe tonight. You can just let go. She's like social gameplay over here, telling Jeff that he's safe tonight. He's not going to be voted off. You're good. Yeah, well, you're good, Jeff. I won't vote you off.
later when they were leaving the challenge, Devins was like, Jeff, you could participate in tribal if you want. You'd be an easy target.
Yeah, Jeff, if you want to join certain tribal, that's fine by me. That I don't want, because like, what does that even mean? He just doesn't host. That's dumb. But I understand it's just a joke, by the way. But the challenge, 1000%. Have Jeff on the journey. You have to beat Jeff on the journey. You know, I think they can mix it up. The fact that it's taken this long for it to happen is crazy.
If you don't complete the puzzle fast enough, Jeff gets ripped into the ocean.
No, better. You ready for this? Better. All right. Okay. So him and whoever is on the dock, Christian, I guess in this case, this would be the variation on the challenge. Jeff is doing the puzzle on one side. Christian's doing the other side, because he had 6 of those anchors, and I think there's enough space to have 2 people up there if they really wanted to have like 6 more on the other side. So let's say it's 2 people competing. It's Jeff versus Christian. Who could complete the puzzle faster? And this has never happened, but this would be funny. And whoever loses, they get ripped into the ocean. It's tied around their ankle, Rebekah. And the only the puzzle or whatever they're doing unlocks a key, and you have to unlock your foot. You have to unlock your foot so you don't get ripped into the ocean. And if you do, you get ripped into the ocean. It's so unsafe, it would never happen.
I like the idea. I'm worried about the execution. Someone's going to hit their head and get injured. So we need to workshop it a bit, but I like the idea.
You get ripped into the ocean. I will say, though, that obviously that's unsafe and that's not going to happen. But I do really like this idea of Jeff competing, and that we saw it. And I think it was executed well. And I don't see why we can't do it again. And 1000%. And eventually, I imagine Jeff will retire and a new host will take over, and that host will be younger. Continue the legacy. Do this again. Younger host that takes over for Jeff in the future. Like, this is a great idea. And I have zero negative notes about this. This is fantastic, as long as the challenge is different. That's my caveat. It cannot be the bucket challenge every time. It will be tired. That's what made Rice Negotiators so tired. It's like, okay, we've done this 9 times in a row now.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, yeah, I think if they're going to do the bucket challenge again, like, wait 5 to 9 seasons. I don't know. Like, give it some time.
Wait till the next returning season and be like, this is a callback to 50 when we did on 50.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, have some variations.
So, anyways, great idea. Great execution. It was so much fun. Jeff referenced Mike Gabler, which was fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of references in this moment, because then, he mentioned Gabler and was like shouting out people that he was doing the challenge for, which was awesome. And then, we had the montage of him like trash talking contestants throughout the years, which was awesome. And also, like, I feel like there's more material for that too. So they could definitely do this again.
They could have done probably a 30-minute montage of Jeff talking trash about people.
It cuts to the montage, and that's the rest of the episode. It's just a montage of Jeff roasting.
And then it ends and we're at tribal and the vote's happening. Like, wait, what?
Like, what?
Wait, what?
Why did Christian vote for himself? What happened?
No, we're not even at this tribal council. We're at the Micronesia tribal council, where Eric gives up immunity to Natalie.
Because poor Eric cannot catch a break. We have to reference him at least 3 times this season.
And it ends with Jeff saying, I guess that's how you learned a life lesson, or whatever he said when Eric gets voted off. And that's the end of the montage. And that's how the episode ends. And they're like, to be continued next time on Survivor.
Oh my goodness.
We would all be complaining, but I'd be like, man, they ultimately trolled us. They trolled us.
Maximum chaos. Yeah. I don't know if I want that level of
trolling,
but theoretically funny.
It's just, it's funny as an idea, not an execution. So Joe wins immunity. Did anyone ever have any doubt once we saw which challenge it was? Oscar, man, Oscar needs 1 win to tie, and he's just like, keeps missing it to tie the record with Boston Bob, Massachusetts Rob, you know?
Yeah. I did this was another, I don't know, like piece of the Ozzy Oscar storyline. We didn't spend much time on this, so I don't know how much emphasis to put on this, but I liked when Jeff called Ozzy like the original Jungle Boy or whatever he said, and then Ozzy or Oscar said Jungle Man. Like, I think we're just getting this
awkward,
picture.
It seemed like too, like Jeff's like Jungle Man.
Yeah, it was awkward, but like, I don't know. I think like part of the reason and again, I'm reading into this a lot. This was one sentence.
Yes,
so,
it was.
You know, don't read too much into this, but we're getting this whole like mature version of Ozzy or Oscar. He's grown since his previous season, so he's no longer the jungle boy. He's the jungle man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm reading too much into it, but I just thought that was funny.
Well. Let's move on. Joe wins immunity. We go back to, Christian's going to go on the journey. I got to say, the way Joe handled who goes on the journey was probably his best gameplay all season, because, and that's not a joke. I don't think anybody was mad, or it wasn't like 46 when Maria's like, Liz and Q play rock, paper, scissors, or what? I think she did the same thing. She's like, Liz and Q play rock, paper, scissors, see who's going to go reward with me. And Q wins, goes on reward, laughs about it because he's eating pizza when he says, I've been going every reward. I don't need this. And Liz is like, I'm so mad. And everybody's like, oh, Maria's the worst. But this season, Joe does rock, paper, scissors. He's like, who wants to go? People are saying, he's like, all right, let's do like a little mini tournament. And they do. And it just works out. And Oscar's mad that Christian goes, but I don't think anybody thought less of Joe. Like, Joe didn't have to pick anybody. Like, it just worked out.
Right.
It was the opposite reaction to when Maria did it on 46. The last time I think of somebody doing this kind of situation.
Yes, I think you're so right. And I think the big difference is that this wasn't a reward. Like, it wasn't a guaranteed.
Oh, it wasn't for food. Right.
And in fact, Christian had to wait longer than everyone else to eat the rice. Like, so it, it was a risk versus reward situation. It wasn't like a guaranteed reward. So I think that probably had something to do with it. And also, just the fact that it, like you said, the way he did it, where it's just totally random. And there was like so many more people interested in going. Like, everyone had a fair shot, I guess. Although I am curious, because I know that there is like, another contestant talked about this recently, that there is like a way to play rock, paper, scissors where you're statistically more likely to win.
Yeah, this sounds familiar.
I wonder, it's bugging me that I can't remember who said that, but I wonder if Christian like knows something about that. He seems like the type of guy who would, know the algorithm or whatever to beat, people at rock, paper, scissors. So
Oscar played a rock, Christian played paper. It feels representative of who they are. Really? Yeah,
true.
Christian's like, oh, I'll beat him with paper. Oscar's like, I'm going to rock my way to the end. And it just seemed like personality thing. So the episode's still still at this moment, it's still a 10 out of 10. We'll get there when we get there. So we go back to camp and Emily's like, oh my gosh, Sari, you are making so much rice. Rebekah.
Yeah.
Rebekah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is what we're talking about with Emily, right?
Yeah. Listen, I want to make this very clear. I love watching Emily play Survivor. Like, I'm a big fan of Emily. But in this moment, it is objectively, if you're on a season with Sari, it's objectively bad to ever tell her that she's doing anything wrong.
Bruh.
And especially to be this vocal about it.
Rice.
And insistent. Yes.
What are you, Philip Shepard? What are you, Boston Rob? Why does only Rob get the crispy rice? Why are we making so much rice, Sari? Like, dude, come on.
And Sari's confessional was absolutely sending me. I mean, she's like, if Emily says one more thing about the rice, I'm going to vote for her tonight. Take several seats. Like, what an iconic confessional. Sari was, it's just so funny.
Yeah, so you see Sari, this is Sari ticked off. This is how she talks when she's ticked off, because she was mad at Emily. And like Emily's making, this is the Survivor 45 Emily that we thought she had grown out of, but that's all, in my opinion, from what I've seen on the edited show, I've seen Survivor 45 Emily, the wrong 45 Emily, too often on this season for her to be a potential winner, in my opinion. Yeah.
And I'm like, it's I don't know, sad is maybe a little dramatic, but like, because I was hoping that this season she was going to
continue the growth arc, right? Continue off where she left off.
Continue the growth arc, but also like I think in her original season, like she kind of needed a mentor.
Caleb,
so Caleb was that for her in her original season, and I was hoping that this season, especially when we saw her team up with Christian like day one, I was like, oh, this is great. Like Christian is going to be her mentor, and like she can kind of like look to him for guidance. But yeah, then unfortunately there's been, chaos and stuff. And I say unfortunately, it's been great TV. I've loved watching her play, but
right. But in terms of winner analysis,
yes, analyzing the story and her gameplay, it is objectively just not.
Right.
I don't know. It's gonna put her in a tough spot, especially like this. Kind of like you were talking about scenes where it's like, okay, is this gonna lead to something eventually?
Well, why was this shown? Right? Why was this shown unless it was to make her look bad?
Yeah, and we know how much power socially Suri has, so yeah, that makes me a little nervous for Emily in the future. Obviously, like, there were other bigger targets tonight, but at some point I have a feeling this might become something bigger with Suri, so it's not looking too good for Emily at the moment.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, this scene, number one, it is interesting to watch, and I do appreciate messy gameplay, messy moments on Survivor, but in terms of who do I think is going to win, I know there's some Emily truthers in our comments. I just don't see it, and this is yet another example. It's not like a one-off thing. It's like the show has shown us over and over again, like Emily does like these messy moments. The fact they didn't show us last week, Emily annoying people at Tribal about how Devin's idol is a fake, it almost feels like a blessing to Emily's edit, you know? Cause like the fact that she said that and people ignored her says a lot, but again, it wasn't in the show. So I guess don't worry about it too much. But
I'm trying to picture like a final three where she wins. I mean, maybe if she goes to the end with
Joe,
like
Stephanie, but even then I'm like a little bit curious.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. Yeah. And even then it's like Coach is probably going to vote for someone other than Emily. Like, I don't know. It would be a really, and I have no idea what the path is for her to end up in that final three at the moment. So it would be tough for her.
I don't know. Anyway, so this whole scene happens and all right. So it's time we go on the journey and it's time for the episode to stop being a 10 out of 10. But I will say, Rebekah, this is the Once Upon an Island positive podcast. So let's talk about this journey, and everyone, let's be positive. No negativity.
Only say nice things. Okay.
Only say nice things. The show was made for 8-year-olds. All right.
Okay. So put myself in the mentality of an 8-year-old.
Of an 8-year-old. Right.
I got it. Okay. Cool.
Will mom let me eat candy? Can I get it without her seeing me get the candy? Will I be able to play video games? All right. Jimmy Fallon. The Jimmy Fallon twist. Now, I believe here on the Positive Podcast that Jimmy Fallon, every movie he's been in is Fever Pitch, 10 out of 10 movie. Did not think there's any flaws with that movie. Jimmy Fallon did have a great idea. We all agree. His idea of the Jeff competing the challenge was a 10 out of 10. I think subjectively, objectively, who's going to argue about that idea? 10 out of 10. This one in the urn idea, a vote is already against someone, I thought was a great idea. You know what I thought was the even better idea was if you lose, you don't even know what's going to happen. You have to read a note back at camp. And as it turns out, that note says you have to vote for yourself and you have to tell everyone. Wow, what a fantastic idea. I love that idea. That's a wonderful idea and doesn't seem dumb at all.
And you have to say thank you, Jimmy Fallon.
Thank you, Jimmy Fallon.
For this.
Even though Jimmy Fallon objectively did not make the show do this. I'm positive. I love it. What a great idea.
Okay, here's my thing.
No negative. No negatives.
I know we're being positive here.
Yes, this is the Once Upon a Positive podcast. Yes.
I genuinely did like that the reward was voting for someone.
Me too.
Like immediately. I thought that was good because it's like you haven't had a chance to talk to people yet. So like you might vote for someone and then turns out your alliance was trying to vote for someone else. So like that does add an interesting strategic side to things. I think I like the idea of the negative thing being something that you just have to like read to everybody.
Hold on. This is the Once Upon a Positive podcast. There is no negative thing. Yep. There's nothing negative. It's just there's a positive thing and then there's another positive thing.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So the other
two positives
thing,
make a negative? I'm just trying to do the math here.
Stop, Rebekah.
Yeah.
Okay. Positive. Think positively. Okay. All right. So this idea is fantastic. I love And I will say Oscar dodged a bullet not going on this. I don't think Oscar was going to complete this puzzle.
Oh, for sure.
Positively, I think positively that Oscar could have completed the puzzle. But if I had to be like, let's say neutral, like let's say this is the neutral podcast. Neutrally, I think Oscar probably wouldn't have completed this puzzle either. If I was being neutral, which is a dangerous area to be in. It's like a kind of a gray area.
I know.
Go there.
Yeah. Scary. I'm curious how much time he had. Like, was it just
6
1
minutes.
minute for each of those?
I believe
because that was not much time to do that puzzle.
It was enough time. This is the positive podcast. It was plenty of time,
Christian's
Rebekah.
good at puzzles.
Rebekah.
Listen, don't get me wrong. Christian's great at puzzles.
Is he?
I think, well, this is the positive podcast, so
yes,
I'm only saying positive things.
Right. He's fantastic at puzzles. And last week, when he lost immunity on that puzzle, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, Christian's great at puzzles. And then we lost it this week. I was like, is this even a loss when really it's all positive? It's the pot.
Now, if this had been a slide puzzle,
we'd been done in 5 seconds.
Yeah, Christian would have actually won the season.
They're
right
like, you
then
have
and
6
there.
minutes
He
to
would
do
have
the
done
slide
it
puzzle.
so fast.
You'd been done before the first thing even dropped.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
They didn't put any slide puzzles this season, I noticed. Yeah. And they used to do those more often. They used to do those more often, but I feel like Christian kind of broke them. I don't know if they've been have they done any since Christian broke them that one time?
Honestly, and also just the fact that Christian's on this season, they might have avoided that intentionally just to avoid giving him an extreme advantage.
Spencer did them really fast in Cambodia as well. But it wasn't like, it was just insane how fast Christian did it on Dave vs. Goliath. And I'm like, have they done one since then? I don't know.
I feel like they have, but none of them were memorable enough that I'm remembering them right now.
Right.
So
now everything Survivor's ever done is memorable. So the problem, Rebekah, is what you're saying is that there's so many memorable moments that my brain can't remember all of the memorable moments.
Yeah, 50 seasons of memorable moments. Absolutely.
When's my wedding anniversary? I don't know, but I can tell you every single memorable moment on Survivor, except for I think every slide puzzle. I think it's probably the only things I forgot.
That's the only thing that I've let slip through the cracks because everything else, I had to pick something.
Who's the fourth person voted off on Survivor Vanuatu? That's locked in. When is my child's birthday? Not as important as the positive aspects of Survivor, which is everything. So
yeah.
Yes, Christian.
So it's a lot to remember.
Does not remember. Christian does not get the puzzle completed. So like an A minus, obviously, we're being positive. Ooh, no, sorry. A minus is negative. That's a negative.
Yeah.
Christian had got an A. Not an A plus, but just an A.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's neutral.
Oh, I don't like that. All right. This is okay. So this was me before I realized I should be a positive person. I wrote, I'm sorry for this.
This is the old Wesley.
This is the old
2
Wesley.
hours ago.
From 5 minutes ago before this became the positive podcast again.
Yes. Okay.
I wrote, this is the kind of stuff that makes people play safe. Why would I say that? That's insane.
That's from such a dark place.
Oh,
my goodness.
We need to be more positive than that. Because I think what the old me was trying to say is that, and this would be, obviously, the old me was trying to say that people were wanting to go on this journey because generally this season, Exile and Journeys have been positives. It's been nothing but positives, like this positive podcast. But this journey is the kind of journeys that people, I think, were so accustomed to. They were hating going on the journeys and they tried to opt out of them whenever they could, because why would I want to roll a bunch of dice randomly to see what happens? Like that, remember that journey? But in this case,
if I lose my vote.
These are the kinds of journeys that, and he came back to camp. And he had to read that note. By the way, very well written by Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's grammar, 10 out of 10. Sentence structure, I was impressed. Impressed by the way it was written. But anyways, let's move out of the positive podcast. Get back to being real again. Oh,
okay. Thank goodness.
Man.
That was hard to maintain.
Yes, it's just Survivor's casting. I live in New York, LA, and Canada, just in case they're wondering.
Yes.
Anyways,
triple citizenship.
But real talk is that him having to come back to camp and read this letters, it is shameful. And I know that's like so extreme to say, but if you think about it in terms of the game of Survivor, this is really where the episode went downhill, obviously, is this whole, the moment he was forced to vote for himself and had to read this note to everybody is where this went wrong. I do like the urn where a vote gets cast for somebody. Okay, really cool. So it's basically an extra vote, but you're forced to play this episode and you have to do it right now. That's all that is. It's just a different extra vote version of extra vote. Great idea. If the other thing was you lose your vote at this point, that is expected and that's okay. I don't like it, but it's expected. Therefore, people played with this like that could happen to me if I go on a journey. I could lose my vote. It's not news, But this voting for yourself and then having to read a note telling everyone you have to vote for yourself, like what? Yeah. This is the kind of stuff that makes people not want to go on journeys now. People are gonna see this, be like, what if that happens to me?
This is where I think, because I agree with you that like having to read the note that you're voting for yourself to everyone is like, this was a lot. Like I wrote in my notes, like, to Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy chill. Because chill. This was a lot.
Jimmy did not say that they had to do this. If Jimmy had that kind of power, they'd be shooting a season in the Arctic because that's what he said they should do. Right?
That's true.
So he doesn't have that kind of power. I'm not going to blame Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
The show decided this is going to happen.
Right. I'm being a bit facetious, but I think that I liked either the idea of, like, I think what I liked is that he had to read the note to his tribe and he didn't know what it was going to be. I liked the surprise element.
I do like that. Yes.
The fact that he had to vote for himself, I thought was way too extreme, because that's so detrimental. I mean, I'm not a fan of people even losing their votes. I know, like you said, it is kind of standard or expected at this point. So at least people understand that that's a potential risk that they're taking. But yeah, I don't know, like having it be so public that you have to vote for yourself is like, I don't know. I thought that was way too much personally.
Right.
Now, if it was something where he didn't have to tell people, but he had to vote for himself, that still kind of sucks, but it doesn't suck as much. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I think it was just that double whammy. Like, Christian never had a shot, frankly. I mean, I know the vote was like not 100% on him, but I don't know. And again, I'm kind of torn because like he did say something about voting out Oscar early in this episode in front of Suri. So like immediately at that point, I was like, oh, Christian's gone. But from a like, I don't know, game perspective, I think this twist really hurt him a lot. And like, I don't know that he would have survived this regardless. So yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan of certain elements of things that happened in this journey, but I think the execution was a little shaky. We need to like maybe dial it back, not do everything all at once, and just kind of like, just have little pieces of this. Maybe there's like better ways you could execute this. Because if it was something like he had to come back to camp and read the note, and the note was, I lost the journey and now we have to give the rice back. If it was something like that, it's like, okay, well, everyone else has already eaten rice. I
guess.
And Christian doesn't get to eat any rice, so that is a disadvantage for him. Yeah. It's not great, but I'm just saying,
like that's the expected. That's fine.
Sure.
That's an expected risk.
I'm saying there's like ways to workshop this and maybe have something different, because this, like you were saying, this was just pretty extreme.
And if it had to be a twist, like let's say he had to read a note, which I think, by the way, is not the worst part of this. I mean, the note is an added layer on top. Like it's another piece of turd in the turd sandwich, but like the bread's good, but the turd's in the middle. The turd is he has to vote for himself. And then the extra turd, the second layer of turd is that he has to tell everyone. Now, if he had to come back to camp and it's like, this journey is not a secret, you have to tell everyone you lost your vote. Like that kind of sucks. Yes. But again, I think that's an okay twist on the idea, because okay, you can't lie about the journey for once. We've seen people for 10 seasons lie about what happens on the journey. For one journey,
and no one
you can't lie about it.
Believes that.
Right.
Yeah.
But for one journey, you can't. Well, everyone bought Stephanie's lie except for Suri. For one journey, you can't lie about it. It's like, that's an interesting twist. And it's just enough where it's like, okay, that's kind of interesting. Like, sure, it doesn't help Christian, I guess, but at the same time, like, it
doesn't hurt him as much as this did. Right.
Voting for yourself just encourages the landslide of let's all just vote for Christian. He has to vote for himself anyways. Sitting duck, easy target, which is what we saw. Of course, momentum was already there for Christian, but who knows? Maybe the edit just said there was momentum for him because this was going to happen. maybe momentum was for Devins. Maybe momentum was for someone else. And the show's like, well, shoot, they already know this is the end result. This is what's happening in this episode. So let's just lean into it, make it look like Christian was going anyway, so you don't feel so bad about this journey twist. So I think it's impossible for me to blame the celebrities. I don't blame Billie Eilish for the show dropping her name 100 times and not on the podcast, pointing out that she still hasn't mentioned Survivor 100 times. Like, that's not her fault that we made those decisions. The show made those decisions. That's the show's fault, and that's our fault. You know what I mean? I don't blame Jimmy Fallon for anything because Jimmy Fallon didn't make the show do anything. The Jimmy Fallon's given ideas, and they either do them or they don't. Like, I'm not going to blame him. The show, when Christian pointed at Jeff at Tribal, yes, that is the correct person to point your ire at. Jimmy Fallon doesn't owe you an apology. I believe if you want an apology from anybody, you're not going to get it, but it'd be from Jeff. Maybe he'll give you one. Just don't count on it. He's not going to do it during the season. It would be later on. He would not do it during the season because it wouldn't be good optics. I'm not going to blame them for anything Mr. Beast does next week. I don't even know what's happening there. We'll discuss that later. I'm not going to blame them for who else is Zach Brown. I can't blame Zach Brown for Zach Brown. What we saw, like that was the show's
the fact
decisions.
That he got twice as many confessionals as Tiffany had up to that point. Yeah, that's not his fault. That's the show's fault. The show's fault.
So it's impossible for me to be mad at these celebrities, which I know some people are. Like, I saw already somebody's like, I blocked Jimmy Fallon on social media. It's like, okay, like that's again, it's not his fault what they did. And also, I believe this goes into the conversation of, I believe last week we referred to it a little bit, where it's like, are we okay with the twist last week because Coach and Chrissy went out, and we like, who's really rooting for Coach and Chrissy? I know there's some people rooting for Coach, but like, I think overall, that's why so many of us were like, this is a pretty good twist because of the results. Yeah,
100%.
I feel like,
and the fact that Cirie was safe, like, there were a lot of biases in my opinion of how that twist was for sure.
Because let's say last week Joe was safe, and Cirie went out on that vote.
Oh,
anarchy!
I would have been furious.
Anarchy! Anarchy!
Yeah.
Let's say this week.
Because that's not the first time that's happened to Cirie, that she's gotten massively screwed over by a twist like that. So
let's say this week.
I mean, last time it was advantages, but yeah.
This week instead of Christian, it was Joe who went on this journey. And also he didn't win immunity, obviously, because he has immunity. Joe or Jonathan, let's say somebody who's not generally like beloved by the most people are like watch the show at the moment. Based on what I know, I see. Or Emily, you know? Like, I feel like Emily is more generally like who's really rooting for Emily. There's a few people, but it's not a lot. Like, let's say
what if Joe gave his individual immunity to Christian, and then we flash back to Eric giving up individual immunity to Natalie, and then Joe goes on the journey.
My point is that had it been somebody who was not a fan favorite went out in this twist, the twist, I believe, I've already seen some people complaining about it, would be complained about so much less because of the result. And I believe that's what happened last week. Last week, the twist, there's something to it. They just didn't give them enough information when they paired them up. That was my only complaint. Had they told them, hey, who you're paired with is who you're going to be voted out with or you know what I mean? Like, I think the twist would have been, okay, 10 out of 10 idea, like, do it. Like, they have all the information they need to do this, to like approach this properly for strategy. And this week, I believe the only difference should have been drop voting for yourself, make it lose your vote. And if the twist was you have to tell everyone to be honest for once, that to me is like, okay, you could say I don't like it, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, not lying not coming back from the journey and lying for once is actually a fun twist on something that's been happening 10 seasons in a row. I don't know. That to me is a fine one. So
I think that's a great way to put it. It's
happened
a fun
to Christian,
twist
Rebekah. It happened to Christian. That's why people are upset.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. It's a fun twist on something that's been happening for so long. It's a thing that I don't personally love, but it is something that has been standard for the last 10 seasons. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. Really good way to look at it.
It's just enough of a twist where it's kind of like Jeff doing different thing on the rights negotiation where it's like, okay, like even if it's not your favorite, it's acceptable, or, you know, but anyways, so we've been on this long enough because I know this is really the main topic of conversation. And it's just a shame because this episode was a 10 out of 10 through Cirie and Emily making rice. Like through that moment, I had zero issues with this episode. I'm like, this is one of the best episodes of the season. And then this twist happened. And it's like, oh man, now it's just a good episode instead of an amazing episode.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
It's an A- instead of an A+.
That's a negative, Rebekah.
Oh
no. So Christian gives Jonathan his shot in the dark. Oh, by the way, when Christian goes on the journey, Oscar's so mad, like you can hear it in his voice. And then Christian comes back and has to read that note, and Oscar's like, "Oh, look what we have here."
Yeah.
Oscar played so perfectly because both confessionals were in the same location, shot the same exact time. So Oscar was able to, hey, for revenge, better than his for revenge, basically acting, actually able to channel the energy he had when he was ticked that Christian went, already knowing that Christian's going to come back and read the note. So he's able to channel that ticked off energy that Christian got to go. Because those confessionals weren't filmed at separate times. Those were filmed at the same time, at the same location, same lighting, everything. And it's like, dang, Oscar, good job actually improving on your acting from, for revenge, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, Oscar's so happy. Christian gives Jonathan a shot in the dark. Emily, as a sign of safety, thinking it'll work like it did with Oscar. It will not. Emily tells Suri and Tiffany she wants Oscar out. It's like, dang, dude, big mistake.
Yeah.
Emily made a mistake. And then Suri's like, oh, Oscar, come here. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a fun story.
Yeah.
What'd you think about this?
This is just further evidence that I think Emily's going to be in trouble sooner rather than later. Frankly, I'm almost a little surprised that she didn't get more votes because I guess she didn't get any votes tonight.
No.
But I think Christian was the first one to offend Suri. So he was first on her hit list.
Oh no, is Emily gone next week?
I think Emily's next. Frankly, for fantasy and everything, I'm probably going to put some votes on Emily because, between this and the Rice issue, I think she's going to be in trouble soon.
I'm putting votes on Emily and Devin. So you know who no one's putting any votes on? Say it with me.
Suri.
The Rizgod, baby. Because ain't nobody targeting the Rizgod. Not even in secret to Suri.
Right. Yeah.
They're targeting Oscar.
I feel like that relationship is even more unknown than the relationship she has with Oscar. Because like you were saying, she and Oscar were playing pretty close early in the game, but that wasn't the case for her and Rizzo. So yeah.
I will say, I'm getting a bit worried about the Rizgod edit in terms of, and I know we'll go more into this with player analysis tonight and tomorrow with Madison, but the cracks I think are starting to form for me with Rizgod because why are we hearing, oh no, Aubry has an idol, got to get her out. Aubry plays her idol. It's like, we're going to get her out. But then that twist happened and Devin basically saved them with that idol. With that fake idol, I mean. So Aubry was on the verge of going, for multiple, tonight was the first night. It's like, oh, Aubrey's not a main target. Wow. Good for her.
Yeah.
She survived a tribal without needing some sort of baloney happening. Well, to be fairness, actually a lot of baloney did happen. With that flipping voting for yourself Christian thing. But what was the other thing? Oh, so Oscar has an idol. It's like, Oscar has an idol. We got to get him out. But Rizgod has an idol. And I feel like is it really just him, Serene, Oscar that know and nobody else? And that's why Rizgod's not targeted? Am I forgetting? If so, does anybody else know?
I feel like, no, I think more people know about his idol. I think Oscar's idol is the one that no one knows about, right? Or am I getting those two mixed up?
Yeah, we might get them mixed up.
Frankly, either way, it's like both of these have been so there's so much else going on.
I think nobody knows who Rizgod was given his idol from. I think that was the issue.
Oh, yes.
Nobody knew who gave him the idol.
Yes, because Genevieve gave it to him and then got voted out before she told anyone, including him.
It boomerang back to if we blindside him.
Yes.
We don't know. Whereas
you're so right.
Whereas Oscars, I believe people know.
Yes.
Of course, Christian's gone now. So literally, I already, who did Christian give the idol to? Aubry, who already played it, obviously. So nobody who giving out a boomerang idol, apparently it would have been better for your game to have the idol. What? Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that Christian, had he had the idol tonight, would have been in a better spot when he voted for himself? By the way, how epic would that be to negate your own vote?
That would have been So legendary.
Christian will not count. Christian will not count. Christian's like, yeah,
Yes.
this is some 4D chess to vote for myself and then negate my own vote.
Oh my goodness.
See, but then we would all be like, oh, this twist was amazing because Christian had an idol.
Yeah, right.
It would
Yeah.
have been funny to watch Christian
Again,
negate his own
maybe
vote.
would have had some notes on the execution, but yeah, I would feel much better about this twist if Christian hadn't gone home for sure.
Bob Aviv would have had 2 idols. Who knows how that would have played out.
Yeah.
Christian would have had
That
an
still
idol.
makes me sick. I know.
Right.
Yeah.
How different the season would be if and I do like the boomerang idol and I'm not complaining about it, but how much different the season would be if the person who actually found the boomerang idol got a reward. Maybe Rebekah, here's an idea on how to improve the boomerang idol in the future. I don't know if they'll do this.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of it being a boomerang idol, it's you have to gift the idol. So it's the Santa Claus idol. It's a gift. You don't get it back. It's just a gift. It's the Santa Claus
Billie
idol.
Eilish Santa Claus idol does not have the same ring to it, but go
it's
on.
It's a Christmas theme.
Okay.
On Fiji. Well,
in
isn't
90-degree weather.
They're the Southern Hemisphere. Isn't there winter during when they're filming Survivor? I know it's not Christmas,
maybe,
but it's their winter.
Like, it's sunny and
All
so
right,
warm
it's
out.
the Santa Claus idol. Whatever, you get the idea. You have to
Okay.
gift the idol. The same idea. No
All right.
boomeranging back. But as a reward for gifting the idol, you're given like an extra vote or something. Maybe it's like if the person plays the idol you gifted it to, you get something if they play it. So actually, your idea is not to blindside them as much as just to get them to play that idol.
Yeah.
And
Because I almost
get like an extra vote.
Like a thought that I had was like maybe something like the Super Idol where like you each get an idol, but you could play it together.
Oh, I love the Super Idol when it's like that. Yeah.
But I do like your idea of incentivizing whoever sends the idol or whatever the advantage, rewarded by getting the other person to do something. So getting that person to get voted out, getting that person to play the advantage or whatever. So yeah, maybe there's something there. I really like that idea.
Or maybe it's still the boomerang idol, right? Let's say it works exactly the same, but it like goes both ways. It's like, all right, so in the situation where the person gets voted out with the idol, you get the idol back. But if the person plays the idol, you still get rewarded with an extra vote. I'm just saying use an extra vote as an example. I don't know what the advantage would be. I think that's a fair one. You get an extra vote and it's like, okay, so it's like you found the idol and because we're rewarding you for working and for not playing this game safe because the show wants to, I mean, they didn't do it tonight, but in general, they want to make people want to play the game and want to do things. And by rewarding them for doing things, even if it doesn't go the way they want, like you did the work and found the idol, you should get rewarded even if you don't get the idol back. If it is a boomerang, for example. And I think that I don't know, maybe if anybody has a comment on how to improve it, I'm down. Cause I think the boomerang idol is a fun idea. We didn't get to see it. We didn't get to see the awesomeness of it coming back to the person, like what we all were hoping would happen to at least somebody. But I think there should be a reward if the idol gets played. Now, the only person who would have been rewarded would have been Christian because Aubry would have played it and therefore Christian would have gotten an extra vote. And then tonight, Christian would be like, okay, I vote for myself, but I have an extra vote to negate that by voting for whoever. You know what I mean? Like, his normal vote has to be for himself, but his extra vote would be for whoever he wants.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in essence, it would be kind of like, it would negate the stupidity of voting for himself because it really is dumb.
Yeah.
It's nothing sacred.
I think like it's definitely the boomerang idol is definitely an idea that I would like to see them do again, but just maybe workshop it a bit and like tweak the way it works a little bit.
It needs to be tweaked.
But I like the idea. I think there's a good foundation here. We just got to figure out how to like execute it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it needs tweaking, not overhaul. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It needs a little tweaking. So, Emily, okay, so Suri and Tiffany say Emily is messy. Rizgod wants Christian out. What Rizgod wants, Rizgod gets. You're all welcome for that. So we go to Tribal, by the way, and Jeff's like, how great was it to have Rice? And Emily's like, it was so wonderful. I have my personality back. And Suri's face says it all.
Yeah.
And that is what the show wants you to think about Emily. For those out there who are like, Emily is going to win, the show is not going to cut to a person like Suri, who the show clearly wants us to like and root for. They would cut to somebody like Joe, where it's like, who cares what Joe thinks? No, they cut to Suri, whose face is like, you all saw it. Like Suri's face is what the show wants you to think about Emily, saying, oh, my personality's back. They wouldn't do that if they didn't want to undercut her. They wouldn't show the rice scenes. They didn't want to undercut Emily.
Absolutely. I think they would have cut that whole interaction with her and Suri at camp. Because, like, if you're not trying to undercut Emily, then what's the purpose of that scene, really? So,
It's not like the scene was overly hilarious and crucial to how the episode played out. It was chosen to be in the episode.
It was pretty funny, but we would have been okay without it.
Right.
You know, from a story perspective.
I have seen secret scenes of equal value to that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen secret scenes cut from the show where it's like, wow, that would have been interesting in the show. But I think narratively, this is important to undercut Emily. Personally, that's why I think so. Anyways, we're at Tribal and Christian is seething. I have never seen Christian so angry before. When he points at Jeff and says he is angry about his rage, and Jeff's like, you're saying it so positively. And I'm like, Jeff, dude, like Christian is ticked. I bet you if Christian was not on camera, Christian would be saying some foul things.
Yeah, it was interesting because everyone was kind of laughing at Christian, because I think everyone thought he was sort of joking. But honestly, I was like, I can't, like, I agree with you. I mean, Christian seemed genuinely mad, which, like, fair. I would be really ticked too if I was in his position. And I think he just, like, I don't know, the way he comes across, like, he has so much self-control, and also just the way that I think he speaks, like, he has a lot of dry humor. So I think, because I'm similar. Sometimes people can't tell when I'm joking because my humor is so dry. And so I think that's maybe what was happening too, is like people thought he was joking, but he wasn't. And I was like, man, I'm glad that there's a TV screen between me and him, because I was like, this is intense. So I don't know. I think Jeff, like you said, he was like, you're saying it so funny. And I was like, I didn't think he was, but
dude,
okay.
If I was Jeff, I'd be like, oh, Christian, you're mad at me, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's what I'd be thinking. Christian is he's pointing at you, Jeff. He wasn't like pointing at the sky where Jimmy Fallon. I don't want Jimmy Fallon's in the sky, but Jimmy Fallon's up in the sky watching. Jimmy Fallon's up in the box watching the episode.
Oh, there it is. Yeah,
there it is. All came full circle, because that was Jimmy Fallon's first idea they did on the show, was that box and onto the idols.
Yeah,
which was a good idea, by the way. So Jimmy Fallon's two for three. The box, good idea. And Jeff competing in the challenge, good idea. I think the Arctic's a good idea. They're just not going to do it. He's 2 for 3 on ideas they've actually done. Then this, of course, also to tie this in for future seasons, they should have Q up in the box and he can do the commentary live. He doesn't have to record it later for Paramount Plus. No, you're right. That's a Paramount Plus exclusive, is watch the Q.
Yes.
Watch the Q edit of Tribal Council. There you go.
The Q commentary. There's something there.
There is. That's definitely like a Paramount Plus exclusive. Sign up so you can watch Q's commentary on every Tribal. And Q's like, oh, that's a big mistake. Yeah, you get Q up in the box. Put him with somebody else you can bounce off of, like Tony Vlachos.
Oh, the two of them together would be so chaotic. I would watch that so many times. That would be so funny. Yeah.
All right. Well, Christian gets voted off, and I don't think anyone was shocked the moment he had to vote for himself if you didn't think he was going. The show's trying to like trick us. They're like, it's changing so often. It's Christian now. It's Devin. Now it's Emily. Now it's Christian. Yeah, okay. It's Christian. Like, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Like, it's Christian. The moment Christian had to vote for himself and had to tell everyone he's voting for himself, it's Christian. That's what did that thing. Is part of what makes that such a bust, is because it kind of like tells you what the end of the episode is going to be, and it's anticlimactic. There's no surprise. Yeah.
I did think it was interesting that after he got voted out, Jonathan gave him his shot in the dark back. Right. Which, because I know we've talked this season a bit about whether or not you can play other people's shot in the darks, and I think that you can. So it was interesting to me that Jonathan didn't like hang on to that, because then you have 2 shots in the dark. Like, I don't know, that seems like an advantage. But I mean, I guess it was a nice gesture, like give Christian
Didn't Christian say he's going to give it to his kid?
I guess. Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe that would make sense.
Yeah.
Well, if there was like an emotional reason for it, that would make sense.
Next time on Survivor, not only do we have Mr. Beast? We apparently have the Super Beware advantage, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I am hoping that the episode is a 10 out of 10 until Mr. Beast shows up, and I hope that we escape the Mr. Beast Super Beware advantage situation, and we're still thinking the episode's good. I hope it doesn't go like this, where it's like, oh no, everything was going so well until Mr. Beast showed up. Everything was going so well until Jimmy Fallon's note showed up. Everything was going so well until the Zach Brown reward. I hope we're not having a trend here where everything was going so well until celebrity,
Mm-hmm.
Until celebrity.
I am curious, is it, I'm assuming that this is at the auction that he shows up.
Yes.
That's at least where it looks like they are.
Oh, definitely. They're at the auction spot.
Hopefully there's at least something interesting that happens there maybe before he shows up, or I don't know.
Hopefully the Super Beware advantage is, okay, Mr. Beast in his briefcase, right? And I think they showed in the preview for 50, like a coin flipping there with Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast logo on it. So I'm hoping that it's something you have to bid on, and ultimately it's a positive. Again, we don't want people playing safe.
Yeah.
The show wants to encourage people to play the game. Therefore, in my opinion, don't Big Brother the situation to make people want to play safe, which Big Brother does so often. They do things, it's like people are like, what's the safest way to escape this uncomfortable twist?
Yeah.
Well, and I also hope it's not do it.
I hope it's not just a coin flip or a roll of the dice or something, because if it's 100% luck based, it's like, because I don't want it to be like, flip this coin, and if it lands on heads, you get $100,000. If it lands on tails, you're out of the game. Like, I don't want something like that where it's just chance, I'm
trying to think more realistically. I don't think they're going to give out money. I know Mr. Beast's notorious for that, and maybe on his show, that's how it would work. But I feel like in this show, they're not going to do that, because that's equivalent to second place Rebekah, and they're not going to. That would undercut the actual second place person. I wonder if the coin flip is, okay, like you land on the good side of the coin and you get the Super Beware advantage, and you'll read it when you get back to camp. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what that twist is. It'll be something new, apparently, based on how the trend has been so far. But if you land to the bad side, you hopefully just lose your vote. But it's public. Everybody knows about it, aka the thing I said should have happened to Christian this episode instead of what did happen. I'm hoping that's like the worst of it. Is like publicly everybody knows you lost your vote.
You know what would be cool is if it was something like, if you flip this coin and you get the good side, then
you go to the good place. And if you flip it, you go to the bad place.
no, like
I just watched that show again.
This is such an incredible show.
Yeah.
Something like whoever wins this season gets $2 million. I know they're not going to do this exactly, because whatever, but like something along those lines where it's like, it's not you directly, but it's like whoever wins the season or whoever wins the next immunity challenge or whatever, where it's just like something that you have the opportunity to win, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to be yours. That could be something. And then the flip side is you lose a vote or whatever.
I know people don't like when I talk about other shows, so this is a very relevant example that I'll try to stick to. On The Amazing Race, I believe it was 21, it was whoever won the first leg of that race. The prize pot was from 1 million to 2 million for that, but it was just for that one team. So it put a target on that one team's back. Are you saying that if this coin flip, somebody does it and it lands correctly? Because that would be very Mr. Beast-like to like double, like do a you get the Winners at War prize pot instead of the Survivor 50 prize pot.
Yes.
And that would be very Mr. Beast-like to be like, okay, land on the good side, only you get $2 million.
See,
but if it lands on the bad
really
side,
interesting.
If you win, you get 500,000. I don't know what you get punished. Like if you win, you get half of the prize pot.
Pre-taxes, by the way.
Before Obama takes his cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's interesting.
You only get the 600 grand after Obama takes it. Like you get 600 grand. They would never do that.
Yeah.
They would never. That's too political for.
They wouldn't.
They know better now.
They wouldn't get
better.
That political.
No, not anymore. I think they learned their lesson on that one. They'll never admit it, but they did. Yeah. So I hope it's not I hope it's not. Okay. So I guess realistically, it's probably more likely it's a money related thing. I just can't see this show being like, here's money for doing the briefcase, which kind of undercuts everybody else. I don't know. I think it puts a target on your back because you won money. So it makes me wonder, like, is it something? Yeah, Super Beware advantage is some cool advantage, or if it's monetary, I hope it would affect everybody in a positive way, because I feel like Mr. Beast in general wants to be associated with positive, and
yes,
like the Once Upon a Positive podcast. He wants to be associated with positive, and I feel like he wouldn't want. Now, people do lose on his show. I haven't seen like every video of his. I've seen a handful at least. And people do lose, but then he'll give them like another chance. He'll bring them on another video or whatever. So I don't know. Hey, it's all speculation. We'll find out next week. I am hoping, Rebekah, I'm okay if it's like flip this coin for the Winners at War pot. I don't know what they would call it. The Winners at War jackpot. I don't know what they call. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that. Because what else is the coin for? What's the coin flip for?
Or like you get cast on season 52 automatically, which is like Blood versus Water. How is that a punishment?
Listen, Rebekah, okay? No matter what happens this season, we are requiring you legally to play in another season. That sounds like a I don't get a choice. I have to play.
I mean, it depends. I think some people would be all for that. Some people would want to avoid it.
Cerise played this game 5 times.
So Cerise
like,
is not going to bid on this.
A 6th time. wait. They're told in advance what you're bidding on is for playing Survivor. You have to play Survivor again. That's what you're bidding on. You are required.
Yes.
You get a casting spot on another season guaranteed.
But it's a coin flip. So on the other hand,
we'll never cast you again if you tip the other side of the coin. You're banned from the show.
In fact, you have to leave right now.
Oh, no.
We're going to blur your face in every episode.
We're way off. Let's move on. So what's new on Patreon? Kelly Wentworth's video will be on there this week. I have 4 winner videos with Natalie Anderson, Mike Holloway, Michelle Fitzgerald, and Jeremy Collins. Well, I did that out of order. You get it. From 29 through 32, all their winner videos are on there. If you want to pick what I make and suggest video ideas, I did get an email about this. I usually get a couple every month, but just recently I got another one where it's like, hey, how do I pick a video idea? This is how you do it. Go on Patreon, sign up for any paid tier, and the higher the paid tier, the more videos you get to pick. But basically up to 5 videos every month, you all get to pick. And it truly is. You give the ideas. I put all of your ideas on a poll. You all vote on the poll. And that's the video I make. Like 90% of what I publish here on YouTube video wise is literally what you all are picking, because you all get a say, and I'm down for it. It actually makes it a lot of fun because it's almost like I'm playing a shot in the dark. It's like, all right, what are the patrons going to pick for me to make this month, kind of that thing. And most of the time it's something I want to make anyway. So it kind of works out. A couple times I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this, but then I'll make it. I'll be like, that's actually something interesting. Like it took me out of my comfort zone, and I actually appreciated it a few times where it's like, I didn't think I wanted to make this. And then I started working. I'm like, oh, this is more interesting than I thought. It took me to a different. So anyways. All right. Anyways, nice. If you want to support us, link in the description. As I mentioned earlier, these podcasts are early and ad free. You get them before YouTube. You get them way before Spotify. And we appreciate it. No ads on there. All right, let's move on to winner analysis. Tonight, we're just going to do our top 3, but tomorrow, Madison and I will be ranking the remaining 10 players. So Rebekah, as usual, I keep forgetting to ask you before we record, because for some reason, before we recorded, we talked about Pitch Perfect 2 again, which we did a few weeks ago.
That was much more important.
Out of context, we'll just leave it there. Just know that for some reason we talked about Pitch Perfect 2, not 1 or 3, but 2. So Rebekah.
Specifically the second one.
Specifically the second one. Rebekah, who is your number 3 to win this season?
Okay, so I debated a lot about this, but my number 3 is the Rizgod baby, Rizgod.
Did he drop for you? Because I don't appreciate that.
No, he stayed exactly the same. He was number 3 for me last week.
Christian was number 1 for you last week. Oh, this is going to be strange. All right.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This whole season, ever since like episode 3-ish, 3 or 4-ish, somewhere around there, I've not felt great about my winner picks. So things have moved a lot. I mean, there's been like consistently the same like 4 or 5 people, but it's moved around a lot. So yeah, Christian was my number 1 last week, but what are you going to do? So so Rizzo's my number 3 right now.
Who's your number 2 then?
My number 2 is Aubry.
And who's your number 1? I just want to get them all out there.
And my number 1 is Oscar.
Really? Wow.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. I just feel like with Oscar, I feel like we've seen such a there's been such an emphasis on his growth, his character arc, and I feel like he's had a really solid story this season. I think the fact that he's aligned with Suri means that he has a great shot to get to the end. And I think if he gets to the end, like, if he puts himself in fire and against Suri and beats her, I mean, like, he's got a great shot to win. So assuming that it's Rizzo, Suri, Oscar, and whoever else, say Emily at the end. Well, it probably wouldn't be Emily, but Tiffany. Yeah. I think Oscar has a really great shot to win. If he can beat Suri in fire, go to the end with Rizzo and Tiffany, I think he's got a really good shot to win. And I think, he's got a very satisfying, like, character arc that we've seen throughout this season. So, story-wise, I feel like he's just being set up to be a potential winner, in my opinion. Aubry, she is, like, I don't feel great about having her at number 1. So, she's at number 2 for me. Kind of like we were saying. She wasn't
even in your top 3 last week, was she?
No, not last week, but she was, I think, the week before that. So, like I said, it's kind of moving around. Mm-hmm. But I think, again, the thing that's going to be required for her is for her to have a really solid end to this season. Like, she does need to make some big moves. But that being said, like, she's never gone away from the narrative. Even, like I was saying earlier, my concern was that when that whole feud died, that Aubry would kind of go away from the narrative. But that's even tonight, too, there was, like we talked about in the beginning of the episode, we were hearing from Aubry, and it wasn't super important to the story, but she was still present. Like, we still heard from her, we still heard her thoughts and everything. So they're keeping her in the narrative, they're keeping us thinking about her. So again, I don't know, like, any one of these people could get voted out next week, and I would be like, sure, yep. Like, that makes sense.
Once Christian went, it's like, yeah, okay.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, but just given what we've seen so far story-wise, I feel like these are the 3 currently that I feel good about having in my top 3. So, what about you?
My number 3 is Oscar the Wise. I'm with you. Oscar's number 3 for me. I know he's higher for you than for myself. But Oscar, I feel good about. He's only moved up for me. I almost moved him to 2, and I might tomorrow. Let me sleep on it. Let me think about it. I might move him up to 2 because I know that he was talked about this week as being voted out, but it was by Christian and Emily. Christian's not even here anymore. Emily is not a threat in this game, and they told Suri. It's like the only time people mentioned Oscar was to his number 1, who's going to protect him. Right. What am I worried about? Now, the issue is if Oscar, Rizgod, and Suri don't go to Final 3 together, I believe it's because Suri at some point will be like, I need to cut them. But in my opinion, I think that's a mistake by Suri to do. I think Suri should just take them because she'll beat them both. There's zero incentive in my mind for Suri to betray them. So then it comes down to, okay, well, Oscar's not, I don't think he's going to betray Suri. Like, he might, I'm not saying he's not going to, but I don't think he will, based on what I've seen, based on Oscar as I know him. If Oscar's with you, Oscar's with you. That's usually how it works. Like, Oscar's anti-mutiny. I mean, look at Cook Islands. People mutiny, and he's like, oh, mutineers have to die. Oh, it's like, but I think Oscar's still the same, if that makes sense. I don't think.
Well, and frankly, he needs Suri around to tell him how to play the game. Right. As he said last week, Yeah.
Suri, who should I put in fire? Not me. You know what I mean? So anyways.
Yeah.
I think Oscar is in a great spot. He might move up for me. Give me tonight. I'll sleep on it and look at it tomorrow with Masson. So Oscar, Oscar's number 3. He's in a good spot. Only people want to target him are out of the game, have no power, and are telling Suri. Fantastic. My concern with this 3-man alliance is the Rizgod, I believe, would be the one to flip if he's like, oh wait, I'm a goat. Compared to these two. I'm not going to beat these two in the Final 3. Rizgod's not a moron. That's my concern with this 3, is that eventually Rizgod will be like, I need to cut Suri and Oscar. I have to beat them. Put me in the end versus Emily, Jonathan, Joe. Put me in the end against other new era people to give me a fair shot. Because seeing these 2 old schoolers, I'm cooked. He'll give himself the L Fortnite loser dance. So that's my worry of Oscar's, that he's gonna be too trusting of Rizgod, and Rizgod's gonna cut him. That's why I don't have him at 1. He might move to 2. things are going well. I'm just like, I guess I'm always on edge with Oscar because I'm just waiting for the eventual, oh no, he's a threat to win challenges. But thankfully, he's only won 1 immunity. Joe's won 2. Oscar's only won 1 immunity this season. And while Jeff's over here like, he could win 9. To me, that should give everyone perspective. Like, oh, Oscar's only won 8 over 4 seasons? Is that really threatening? If anything, I think it's actually helping to be like, everyone there can do simple division. Like, that's not a lot of wins. It's a lot of wins when it was when he won 5 in 1 season. But since then, he's only won 3 and 1 was this season. You know, like,
yeah.
And he looks like Shambo. Shambo's not threatening.
I mean, yeah. I don't know if his haircut is going to affect his threat level, but sure.
I think him looking like he does makes him less of a threat.
I mean, yeah, like, I guess that's a fair point. Yeah.
Looks do affect how people think about you. And I think Oscar looking like Shambo is like, it's kind of disarming. It's not the hunky Aussie of Cook Islands or Micronesia. It's Shambo Oscar. Yeah.
And frankly, like, standing next to Jonathan or, you know,
who
like,
looks massive.
I mean, yeah. I didn't mention it earlier, but at the beginning of this episode, when he was talking to Devins, like right after Tribal, I was like, man, Jonathan is massive. Because I saw Devins at the Ron Clark event, like, and he's just a normal sized man. Like, he's taller than me. How
tall? He's 6 feet tall?
I don't know, probably somewhere around there, maybe a little shorter.
Yeah.
But like, to see how Jonathan was towering over him, I mean, made Devins look so tiny. And I was like, that's just a normal man. So Jonathan, all that to say, I think, you put Ozzy next to Jonathan and it's like, I mean, not that Jonathan's won a bunch of immunities this
Jonathan's
season, but
presence makes Oscar look less threatening.
I think so. Yeah.
I think you're onto something. I think Oscar the Shambo staying next to Jonathan probably does help, and it's in his best interest to keep Jonathan there just long enough to keep the heat off his back. Plus, I think Jonathan's honestly destined to. I don't think he's destined to win. He really needs. If Jonathan's just next to Stephanie and Joe, I think it's his best shot right now. So, if that is a plausible final 3. It's not final 3 I want, but it's plausible at the rate we're going. My number 2 is Aubry. I agree with you on Aubry. I almost moved Aubry down because while I do enjoy the seemingly unnecessary segment pumping her up, she didn't do anything after that. You know, that's why I said it, like a Sophie B flashbacks, like talking up my game and then doing nothing. And Sophie B is just the most recent example. There's so many players in the history of Survivor who have talked about playing the game and then sat on their hands. And I am anti people sitting on their hands. Everyone knows this who's listened to this podcast. I'm anti that. I think the show's anti that as well. That's why they usually poke on people who do that in the edit. But anyway, she's just the most recent example. And it's like, all right, are we pumping up Aubry just to show she's not doing anything? Because like, what did she do? Like, why do we pump her up this episode for then nothing to happen with her? Maybe next week, I guess. But like, shoot, are we pulling it? You know, now I want to think of like Teeny. Remember, I was like, this is the week Teeny's gonna bust out and do something, and then it was like we were like the week before the finale, and I'm like, that was the point. I was like, I don't think it's ever gonna happen. Like it was like episode 12, and I'm like, I guess nothing's happening. Okay, so I'm concerned that could be where we're going with Aubry, is that she's present and she's an end gamer, and so that's why she's so in the story. But then she gets let's say she gets the final 3, and they're like, Aubry, what did you do? And Aubrey's like, oh, guys, I beat Genevieve. And they're like, you know,
like Genevieve's not here.
Yeah, she's not even on the jury. That's it. So that's my concern with Aubry at the moment. And I'm thinking about moving her down to 3 because of that. Which says a lot, by the way. That's my number 2. My number 1 is the Rizgod, baby. Though I will say, put it on the record, week 9, episode 9 is the first time I thought to myself, maybe Rizgod is not a lock to win. I'm not thought I would say he's a lock to win. Maybe he's not such a clear-cut number 1 for me because I'm afraid that people aren't talking about him enough. You know, don't get me wrong. Nobody's talking about Suri either, but I feel like Suri's just playing so well that it kind of like in these stories, like it's okay because Suri's playing so well and you see people trusting her with stuff. And it's like, okay, you see why people aren't targeting her because they all trust her. Rizgod, why isn't anybody targeting the Rizgod?
Yeah.
It reminds me of Xander on 41. It's like Xander seems like he should be winning this season, right? Gets to the end, gets 0 votes, gets skunked, talks about how he was fat when he was in middle school. You know, like that's the Xander edit.
Right.
I think Rizgod might be getting Xandered, is what I'm trying to say. Rizgod also, like Aubry, might be a 0 vote finalist at the rate we're going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line to walk because you don't want your name so out there that you're a huge target. But also, if no one's targeting you ever, it's probably because you're not perceived as a threat. Right. So yeah, it is a very fine line to walk for sure.
Rizgod, his best, and I don't even see how it's going to happen at the moment. His best option is to sit next to Jonathan, Joe, Emily. That some combination of those three. Because I think Rizgod could beat them. They're like, all right, well, we have to pick a new player to represent 50, right? We're being forced to. The jury is. We're being forced to. Well, do I pick Joe? Do I pick Jonathan? Or do I pick the Rizgod? Can I vote for none of them, Jeff? Or Emily, yeah.
Jeff, can I vote for you? Can you put yourself in the game?
Jeff, can you put yourself in the game so I can vote for you? So I want to be very clear. It's the episode 9 is the first time I thought, but I also don't feel strongly if anybody else put them at 1 at the moment. That's so fair. Rizgod is 1, valid. But I'm not like, number 1 with the bullet. I'm number 1 with a lot of hesitancy. So yeah, we'll go more in depth tomorrow with Madison, but that's where I'm standing. Do you have anything else to add to that, Rebekah?
I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Okay, well, tomorrow Mass and I will go more in depth on all 10 players, and we'll rank them all. All right, with that, let's move on to question of the week. Rebekah, I want you to do your question first because I feel like I hyped mine up earlier, and it's only better to do mine second then because I did that. So what's your question for me? Also, what's the score?
Okay.
What's the score?
First, yes, the scores were tied at 4 each. So it is currently a tied game.
Yeah.
So, yes. And I'm hoping that this is a question you don't randomly know. So here we go. Your question is, who is the first, and also, by the way, the wording on this is very important. So just so you know. Who is the first returning player to reach the final tribal council without receiving a single vote throughout the season? Okay? Your options are Amanda Kimmel, Coach, Tyson, or Jeremy Collins.
I don't know the level of... So I'm unaware if what you're counting as no votes against them. Does this mean not even negated votes? This is important. Do negated votes count? Like if they played an idol? Yes, negated
votes count. So without receiving a single vote.
Okay. So yes,
that's why the wording is important.
It's not Jeremy Collins then, because Jeremy Collins would be the answer, but he negated 3 votes. So he's off the table. Amanda Kimmel, I don't remember enough about Micronesia to know if she got any votes before the final tribal. So she's on the table. Coach definitely got votes against Coach before final tribal, so he's not an option. I'd be shocked if Coach went to final tribal 0. That's insane. I'm pretty sure like Oscar voted for him, like at least. I don't know. Maybe Oscar voted for Sophie instead. Shoot, I forget. Nobody voting for Coach on South Pacific sounds insane. I'm gonna take him off the table. Amanda or who? Who's the other option? Tyson.
The 4th option was Tyson. Yep.
No, Tyson got votes, I think. He drew rocks? Well, that doesn't mean he got votes, though. Shoot. I want to say Amanda Kimmel, but that doesn't seem right either. Watch it be Coach and I'm a moron. I'm going to go with Amanda Kimmel.
All right. Well, I hate to break it to you. The answer was Coach, actually.
Wow.
So yeah, in Micronesia,
he really ran a cult that season. Wow.
He really did. Yeah, he had 0 votes in South Pacific against him. Amanda Kimmel, she did have, I didn't write down how many. 4 votes against her in Micronesia, but they were negated by an idol.
So like Jeremy Collins, she negated them. What about what about the other option there, Tyson?
And then Tyson, he did have 2 votes against him.
Okay.
So
Tyson,
and those were not negated,
votes.
But
yeah, I was like afraid Coach was the right answer because it seemed 50 relevant, but I was like, how did nobody vote for Coach prior? Like how much trash was talked about him? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I think, I didn't write this down, but I think he got 0 votes that season. I don't think he got any votes to win either.
No, he did. He got 2nd place. Cochran voted for him at least. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yep.
There's only one player to ever play the entire game getting 0 votes for them, and then going to Final Tribal and then getting 0 votes for them there. And I will save that for either you to look up yourself or to watch my Perfect Losers video that's on Patreon right now, Rebekah. We're not spoiling it.
Okay. I want to guess later, but okay.
Well, we
can do that off air.
I mean, if you're a hardcore fan, you already know the answer, but I did a whole video covering the history of people who had the Perfect Loser game and the very close misses, if you want to call it misses, to having a Perfect Loser game. So yeah, there's one person who's actually accomplished that, if it's an accomplishment. And there's so many people who got like 1 vote. It was like so close, like 1 vote off. It's shocking. So,
nice.
All right, Rebekah, your question is, why was Brandon Hance banned from attending the Caramone reunion?
Oh.
All of your options are real things that happened, by the way. Only one is the correct answer, but all of the options are real things that happened. Okay. So why was
I just want to
Brandon
say
Hance,
this is an incredible question.
Why was Brandon Hance banned from attending the Caramone reunion? Option A, he had a meltdown on his season, as we all remember when he melted down against Phil Shepard and then got voted off at the challenge. Option B, the stage could not accommodate every player despite being the exact same stage that they used for the prior season's reunion. That's a real thing said by Jeff Probst.
Yeah.
Option C, because his uncle, Willie Hance, headbutted another player on Big Brother. Or D, because Russell Hance kept trying to get Philip Shepard to fight him. All these things are truthful. Only one is the real reason, though.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all... That's so insane. The stage thing is a really good red herring because that... I mean, first of all, that just sounds like something that Jeff would say, and I know he did say it.
He did say it. That is literally what he said.
That just sounds like a real excuse that they would use. But I think the actual answer is C, that his uncle headbutted someone on Big Brother, because I think I've heard something about Big Brother with this. I'm very fuzzy on details, but that's going to be my official guess. I think it was because his uncle headbutted someone on Big Brother.
That is incorrect, though it did occur. Willie Hance did headbutt somebody on Big Brother and then get ejected from the game, a la Dan Spilo. Yes, Brandon Hance did have a meltdown on a season. It's not why he wasn't asked back. It was actually Russell Hance kept trying to get Philip Shepard to fight him. And because of that,
why did that lead to Brandon getting banned?
Of that, they banned Brandon Hance from the reunion and still paid him the $10,000.
Okay.
And instead of saying that, Jeff said, oh, the stage isn't large enough. It doesn't have the capacity to accommodate all of the pre-mergers. That's why they're sitting out in the audience and Brandon Hance isn't here. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And then people afterwards were literally like, this is the same stage and same setup and everything that held the Philippines, the season prior's entire cast. What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
All real
and
things,
also if Brandon was the only one who wasn't there, then it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like, what is he, like a 400-pound man? Like, there's a weight limit on the stage? We all know. We all know that's not the truth.
Yeah.
All right, well follow-up question, Rebekah.
We remain tied at 4.
Follow-up question, Rebekah.
Oh.
This is a bonus point if you get it right. No options, though.
Okay.
Your question is, Rebekah, how many players did not attend their season's reunion? Your only hint is that it's less than 20. And it's more than 1. Because Brandon Hance is obviously 1.
Yes. I knew about him. I also knew, I think there were some people who didn't attend the Redemption Island finale. I think there was also someone who was like pregnant. So yeah, I don't know for sure, but I'm just gonna guess like, I don't know, let's say 12.
That is incorrect. The answer is 9.
I was close though.
The first time it ever happened was this season with Brandon Hance. They kind of opened Pandora's box in a way. I think that's the right use of that phrase. Brandon Hance and Brenda were not at the Caramone reunion. Brenda was pregnant. She wasn't banned. By the question is who did not attend, not who was banned. So
right.
Brandon
banned her for being pregnant. Oh no.
That would be a controversy.
That would be so problematic.
The stage couldn't accommodate the baby, okay? The stage couldn't handle that kind of weight on stage, all right?
Oh my goodness. And now they're calling a pregnant woman fat, so it's just it's doubling up. It's getting worse.
That's the first 2. Here's the other 7. Vetus on Cambodia because I guess he spoiled and also like left Ponderosa earlier. Something like that.
Oh. Okay.
Stephanie from Ghost Island, who I doubt you even remember for unspecified reasons. Alec from David versus Goliath because I think he was actually banned because he I think he posted pictures of him and Kara from that season on his like social media, and it kind of spoiled that they were going to be close because at that point in the season it was like pre-merge or whatever, and they weren't even like interacting or something like that. It was basically spoiler related, so they banned him from attending. Jeremy from Dave vs. Goliath just for unspecified reasons. Elizabeth and Jack from Island of the Idols did not attend their reunion, all because of the last person I'm going to mention that didn't attend their reunion. Can you believe it? Dan Spilo.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant. I meant Island of the Idols. I didn't mean, I said Redemption Island, but that's what I meant.
I knew what you meant. Yeah. So the season with the most people missing from their reunion was Island of the Idols, which totally made sense. It was Dan, Elizabeth, and Jack.
I remember that being a whole thing because they didn't even broadcast that live. They
pre-filmed it. That's the first time they ever pre-filmed a reunion.
So weird, yeah.
Yeah, the last true live reunion we had was 38.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
It's been since Devin's
40,
season.
40 was
no, it's just a
over
Zoom thing. That doesn't count. It wasn't even a reunion.
Was it live or was it pre-taped?
The vote reveal the vote reveal was Jeff doing it in his garage live, but like that wasn't a reunion.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yeah. In fact, Jeff reading it in his garage live was more exciting than watching the pre-recorded ones. The pre-recorded ones we see on the new era. I gotta say, I don't know why, but it's because it's actually happening right then and there when you're watching it.
I think it's and I think it's because Jeff was like, all the crew like mailed me a bunch of equipment and I had to figure out how to set it up in my garage.
Me and my sons,
I think like a behind the scenes shot or something. Yeah. That was very entertaining, actually.
Something like that. That one's I'm not saying they should do it every time. I found it more interesting because of the situation that COVID put us in. Plus, of course, the fact that it was live. Just the live element adds so much. I'm glad they're doing a live finale this season. So,
yeah.
All right, Rebekah, let's move on to audience questions. As always, as soon as the episode is done here on, YouTube, ask for your all's questions and we'll answer some of them. I always give favoritism to those I actually see commenting on videos and or podcasts here on YouTube. They get infinite, and of course, Patreon as well. Infinite favoritism. All right. First question is from Mike Glasses. Not Survivor related, but did you enjoy WrestleMania 42? Or as I call it, Ad Mania? Very brief aside, I will say WrestleMania 42, Rebekah, 8 hours, only had 13 wrestling matches.
Oh my goodness.
Not enough wrestling matches for 8 hours of show. Should have been, in my opinion, 10 wrestling matches per night because it was over 2 nights.
Okay.
Instead of like 6 and 7 or whatever, 6, 7.
How long are the matches?
Like not that. The longest one was, I think, was 20 something minutes. Not long enough. Wow. Not long enough. Yeah. And then in the middle of the match, they would do an advertisement. Like it was they would cut to commercial in the middle of the match. Right.
That's crazy.
That's stupid. So anyways, that's my thoughts. WrestleMania, wrestling has a problem with ads right now. Like YouTube. Professor J Gaming says, I had a question, Wesley. How are we meant to go on watching the season after losing Christian Ubicki? And somebody answered this perfectly for me. And a lot of letters said, watch Rizgod. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
They said in response to that, though, I'd rather look directly into the sun.
Oh, that's sad.
All right. I guess our actual real questions. Isabella says, so now that we've broken a fundamental Survivor rule that you cannot vote for yourself, do you think the super beware advantage is going to be that if you don't complete the given task, you have to vote for yourself at every tribal council for the rest of the game, Rebekah?
Oh, man. I mean, I think that's pretty extreme.
That would actually be scary.
I could see it being that you have to vote for yourself at the next tribal, which I still wouldn't like. I mean, I would still think that's too much. But man, every tribal, that's crazy. Does that include final tribal? Can you vote for yourself to win?
No, obviously. I think they're just saying up until final 5 because you don't vote at fire making.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible, but I hope it's not that extreme. I don't know.
All right. Next one is from Rated Havoc. Most people are just crashing out about this twist because it gave them a result they didn't want, kind of what we were saying earlier. When Coach and Christy were on the receiving end of the twist, most people said it was amazing. When Christian gets mildly screwed over, I would say more than that. It's the worst.
Say more than mildly, but
Yeah. I mean, wait, this is the Positive Podcast. They didn't get screwed. No, everything worked out great for everybody. When Christian gets mildly
sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. Whoa, double rainbow all the way. When Christian gets mildly screwed over, it's the worst thing ever, and survivors jump the shark. I like the concept of this twist. It's more interesting than someone just losing their vote. I don't think the entire tribe should know about it, though. What do you think, Rebekah? Would this twist have been fine had the entire tribe not known about it?
I think it would have been better. I think it's more interesting than just losing a vote because we've seen that happen, 1,000 times over the last 10 seasons. But that being said, that doesn't mean it's a good twist. Just because it's like more interesting or different than what we've seen before, it doesn't mean it's good. And I think, I think it was just like a triple whammy of you can't vote for anyone else. You have to vote for yourself and you have to tell everyone about it. I mean, it really almost guarantees that if you don't have an idol, you're going home that night. So, I don't know. I think I think there's interesting elements to what happened tonight, but I think it needs to be workshopped because right now it's just a little too extreme. But I think if they can workshop it and kind of dial it back a little bit, maybe tweak some things, it could be an interesting twist for sure.
Next one's from that Percy guy. Why did nobody vote for Emily after a good amount of people said they were going to vote for her?
Because Suri wanted everyone to vote for Christian.
Ain't that the truth?
I'm pretty sure.
That's the way the story
Emily
told
is
it.
going to be in trouble soon.
Yeah.
So.
Emily wanted to get an Oscar. Big mistake. Emily made a mistake.
Emily criticized how Suri made rice. Big mistake.
Oh, dude, that might even be a bigger mistake. That's right. Suri's like, I'm about to vote off Emily just for criticizing the rice. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, I say criticized. It was more of an argument.
It really was.
Emily would not let it go. So.
Emily didn't just state her opinion and then move on. She pulled a me and just went on and on about it. Emily, you got to know better than that.
She's like, you're using that much water, and then a few minutes later, you're using that much rice. Like, just kept bringing it up.
Bro, the water's infinite. We have a well that the production fills up for us. By the way, I don't know if everyone knows this because we did talk about this on our when we visited Survivor Fiji podcast over the summer. And I know you know this, Rebekah. Is that the well? If people didn't know, is just like a massive like plastic barrel that's covered up by wood to look like a well. So Survivor is just like filling this with safe water. So like, here's an infinite amount of water. Like like it's not an actual well. They're not going to run out
the well.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh no, this well out here in the middle of not Mon Island, out here in the middle of Fiji is dry. We're all out of water. No, it's
Can
just
you even
refilled.
This is a really random question. Can you even dig a well where they are though? Like, because I imagine it's pretty sandy.
I do love that the show has sold the general audience on that has occurred at 3 different camps.
That is true. Yes,
3 different camps have wells and nobody's asking how or why.
No follow-up questions needed.
No needed. I'm glad that these camps have convenient well locations for all 3 of us that are not near where we live. What if the well was right next to the actual camp? And they're like, do you want to go talk by where we pick up wood? Yeah. All right. Next question's from A Blank. Bad game design, particularly with the force reveal as it incentivizes complacency. Oh, you're preaching to the choir, A Blank. The reward is also pretty mid for the risk as you don't have the ability to strategize with allies. And then they go on to blame Jimmy. I'm not blaming Jimmy. So yeah, I'm with you. Bad game design. I think it does anything that incentivizes complacency that's bad game design. I agree. For any show, doesn't matter. So, all right, well, that's it for y'all's questions. Let's move on to our final segment, which I did let everyone know what we were going to review this week, which is the movies for movie of the week, Rocky 1 and 2. Though I will say that 3 and 4 are also good. I just haven't watched those in a few years. I rewatched 1 and 2. So 1 and 2 specifically. Quick ranking on all the movies. You ready, Rebekah? Rapid fire.
I'm
Here
ready.
we go.
Hit me.
All right, Rocky. All right, this is from, we're going to go from worst to best. Rocky 5, Rocky 6, Rocky 4, 3, 1, 2. Personal opinion, 2 is the best.
Now, quick clarification question, because I have not seen these movies.
Okay.
Are there 6 Rocky movies plus two Creed movies?
Three Creeds.
Three Creeds.
And yes,
okay.
Creed is a continuation of the Rocky movies, but it is its own separate trilogy at the moment.
But there's 6 of the Rocky movies.
Yes.
That's crazy. I did not know there were that many. Okay.
First 5, I believe, came out between, I think the first one was 1977, and the 5th one was 1990, and then they took a break and then did the 6th one, I believe, in 2006.
Okay.
And then Creed was 2015. So if I had to rank Creed in there, by the way, Creed would be the 3rd best Rocky movie. 2, 1, and then Creed. Creed 2 and 3, and that's what we're here to talk about. We're talking about Rocky 1 and 2. So anyways, Rocky 1 and 2, Rocky, the first one, is really an independent movie made in the late 70s. Sylvester Stallone wrote the entire script in 3 days. And it's about him as a boxer being, so there's this, it's set in 1976, Rebekah, because it's all about celebrating America being 200 years old at that point. Yeah. 200 years old. And it was Apollo Creed is the world heavyweight champion. And he's like, let's do something patriotic. I'm going to let some nobody fight me for a show. And it's but Apollo Creed's not taking it seriously because he just picks Rocky because he's called the Italian Stallion and he likes the name. He's like, what's more patriotic than an Italian stallion fighting me in the ring? And that's the main selling point of why he picked Rocky specifically to fight him. This nobody schlub who has not lived up to his potential and basically is poor and his apartment's a piece of junk. And it's actually really, it sets up really nicely to understand the motivations of both sides and why, number one, why Apollo Creed's not taking this seriously. And also why, because it's some nobody against the world heavyweight champion or the world champion. And then Rocky, and why even Rocky gets picked, because you're like, how else does this unrealistic scenario happen? They're like, it has to be 1976. Even though I think the movie came out I think it came out in 76 or 77. I think it came out in 77 if I had to guess. I'm sorry for not recalling the exact date. That's crazy to think
about. That was 50 years ago.
It was. Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Yep. And Sylvester Stallone's still alive and chock full of muscle. All natural, of course. All natural. Of course. On an unrelated note, I watched Major League recently, and Charlie Sheen said he took steroids for 2 months before doing Major League to look like a Major League pitcher. But that's an unrelated story, not related to Sylvester Stallone. Unrelated story. All right. So Rocky 1, noted. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a well-made movie. It's definitely an independent movie in terms of the budget of 2 is so apparent in comparison to 1. So 2 picks up immediately where 1 ends, picks up immediately. And it's I love when a sequel isn't afraid to just pick up exactly where the last one left off and continue the story and not be like, we got to do a whole new story and do or let's just do the same thing again. In my opinion, 2 was let's pick up where we left off in a natural way and continue the story. Almost like it's a duology of movies. 1 and 2 go hand in hand so well together. It's if you watch 1, you got to watch 2. So 2, I don't want to spoil because it would be spoiling 1 to talk about too much. 2 basically picks up where 1 left off with a bigger budget, I gotta say. Everything looks way better. You could tell where the money was there, but it's not so out of place. Like Mary watched it with me and she did not think that 2 looked it looks better, but it's not oh no, I can't watch 1 again because 2 looks so much better. It's not distracting. Right. It's not distracting, but for me who knew that clearly the second one had more money, you could tell right away. I also think the second one's a better movie because I think the first one had some jank to the story originally. So this is not a spoiler. Originally, the first movie was supposed to end with, Rocky's boxing's just not for me. I'm going to quit boxing. And it's that's a depressing ending to the movie. I'm glad they didn't do that. Also, there would have not been 5 more Rockies than 3 Creeds if they had ended it that way. They would have had to retcon that real quick in Rocky 2.
They're just follling this guy who is no longer boxing.
I hate boxing.
For 5 more movies.
Time to do 5 more movies. Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. That's what Rocky 2 would have been if they had to retcon that. Anyways, so the fact that Rocky 2 gets to naturally pick up where Rocky 1 left off, where Rocky 1 does not end with him hating boxing, it's really well done, and it's a realistic take on what would happen. And I understand that the flaw of the Rocky movies, Rebekah, I almost called you Mary for a second because I've talked about Rocky with Mary so much recently. Sorry. the flaw of the Rocky movies that Creed, I think, fixes if you watch the Creed movies, because the first Creed is amazing, excellent movie, is that the Rocky movies, like, nobody's playing defense. Nobody protects their face in these fights. Like, they're just like, arms are always too low. So they're always just getting, Rocky takes like 1 million hits to the face. It's like, this dude has to have brain damage, right? There's no way he comes out of this fight without having brain damage. I know concussions weren't really a thing, like, talked about. I know they were a thing. They weren't talked about in the same way, if they were even talked about that. But like, he had to have so many concussions because nobody is playing defense. Their arms are not protecting their face like in a real boxing match.
Crazy.
That's my only criticism of the fights in the Rocky movies. Like, also, okay, so Rocky 1 and 2, highly recommend. Definitely watch them. If you like the first two, then continue watch 3 and 4, because 3 and 4 are not as good, but they get like sillier, depending on your opinion of silly is whether you watch 3 or 4. Without spoiling 3 or 4, Rebecca, 3, Apollo Creed and Rocky are now best buds, and they have to face off against Mr. T. That's 3.
That's awesome.
And Mr. T is super silly as a villain. The 4th movie, Rocky has to face off against, I forget his name. I think it's Drago. Are you tracking me?
Yes.
Okay. He has to face off against Drago, who is a Russian super boxer. And in his fight against Drago, that happens in Russia. The Russians root for Rocky. They're like, Rocky, Rocky, in Russia. And the movie ends, and Rocky's like, hopefully we can end the Cold War. And I'm paraphrasing. This proves that we can work together to end the. It's like they all rooted for Rocky in Russia in this politically charged movie.
Interesting.
It was very.
Because you said this came out during the 80s. Or the 70s?
That was like 85, I think. I could be wrong. I think it was like 85. It was like middle of the Cold War.
That's
like
crazy.
when it was like when the Cold War was hot. Yeah. So that's what I mean by the 3rd and 4th ones are silly. Like, we went from like the 1 and 2, in my opinion, are like realistically grounded movies. Even the second one has more money. It's like, without spoiling too much of the story, realistically grounded movies, there's maybe a moment here and there you're like, this is a movie moment. Like, for example, everyone knows how Rocky runs up the steps. Like, this is an infamous thing known. Right. He runs up the steps at the end of his montage in the first movie. He's by himself, raising his arms, like, yeah. Like, my training, like, because earlier in the movie, he's like wiped running up the stairs. He's totally, like, he can't really make up there without like heaving and like, but by the end of the montage of the first movie, he's doing it and he's not heaving and nearly dying like the rest of us. The second movie, for some reason, 300 children are with him as he does his montage. He starts by himself, ends the montage with like 300 children around him at the top of the stairs, all doing the fist pump. And it's like, where do these children come from? Where do they go to when the montage ends? Why did they all join Rocky? You know,
that's awesome.
Like, it doesn't make sense, but it's like, it's a movie moment. That's a movie moment. Like, the first movie is grounded and real. That's like the first sense, in my opinion, in any of the Rocky movies, where it's like, this is a movie. For me, that's when it happens, was that moment in Rocky 2, which is near the end of the movie anyways. And then 3 and 4 are like that children moment, but like, that's most of 3 and 4. 5, in Rocky 5, there's not even a boxing match. It's a street fight, and it sucks. That's why 5 is the worst.
Oh my goodness.
And then 6,
it's like the Fast and Furious of the Rocky movies.
Fast and Furious, like, I think is actually more fun. 5 is just garbage. I didn't even show Mary. Mary's never seen Rocky 5. I'm like, Mary, it's not worth your time. I told her the very basic what happened. I'm like, all right, let's watch Rocky 6. I'm like, this is really not worth watching Rocky 5. You can totally skip it. 6, again, I'm not spoiling anything. 6 is Rocky, for some reason, it's like, I need to do one more this is so unnecessary. And do one more fight. The movie, it makes it seem plausible enough, I guess. But like, Sylvester Stallone in 2006, 30 years later from 1976, which I'm pretty sure, by the way, in 1976, it established that he's like 30 years old. So he's 60 years old.
So he's 60.
Mike Tysoning against Jake Paul, I guess, for a recent reference. Except in this situation, I don't think he was informed to throw the match like I believe Mike Tyson was. That's a whole different...
Cough.
That's a whole different story. So it's like, I'm supposed to buy this 60-year-old Rocky still able to take all these face punches.
Yeah. Does he at least use his hands to defend his face in this one? Or
I believe in that one is his best defense, though I don't remember it being good still.
Okay.
It's not until you watch the first Creed movie, Rebecca, which is really Rocky 7, but it shifts from Rocky being the main character to Apollo Creed's son. being the main character of Creed 1. And in that movie, yes, they thankfully thankfully have real boxing. Rebekah,
they start defending themselves. Yeah.
You'll appreciate this as a filmmaker. In Creed 1, there's two major fights in the movie. One's in the middle of the movie, one's at the end. The one in the middle of the movie, Rebekah, is a oneer. And I understand that you can fake oneer, but like it oneers from his locker room through the entire fight.
That's cool.
In the boxing ring. And it is super cool. And it's probably the most, I don't know what the word is. It's the one that, it's probably the best fight, not emotionally, but it's the coolest fight to watch out of all of them in any movie. Because they don't do it in 2 or 3. They only did it in 1. And it's by far like staying at ground level with Apollo Creed's son as he leaves the locker room, walking out into like the crowd of people into the ring and going through the whole fight in a oneer in one shot.
That's so cool. I love when movies do that for
even without the movies, all the context of the movie.
Yes, I love when movies do that for fights because it makes them feel so much more grounded and real. Because when you have something like Marvel, cough cough, who does like 1,000 cuts for every hit, it's like it's hard to keep track of, and your brain knows like this is fake. Like it just really, I don't know what it is. It's something psychological, but yeah, when they do oneers for stuff like that is really cool. So right. I'll have to check that out.
So I know this is a review of 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 I recommend. 3 or 4 are silly. 5 is hot garbage. 6 is okay. 6 is worth watching. It's just okay. Creed 1 is like so good, but you can't watch Creed 1 without watching Rockies 1 through 4 at minimum. Okay. At minimum. So
okay.
Anyways, Creed's 2 and 3 I've watched one time and I'm like, they were fine. 3 starred Jonathan, what's his name, who was going to be Kang in Marvel right before he got arrested and whatever and all that stuff that happened to him. Came out right before all of that came out about. I forgot his name. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who you're talking about, but this sounds interesting. You said his name was Jonathan?
Yeah, I believe. Look up like Ant-Man Quantumania or look up like Creed 3 and you can tell me who the actor is. But I think he got arrested and I don't know eventually what happened, but Marvel dropped him.
Jonathan, oh no, sorry, that's the character name. Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, that's his actor name.
Is that his name? Oh, that's his actor name. Okay.
Jonathan Majors, right. He was going to be the big baddie of what was supposed to be these new Avengers movies, but they dropped him in 2023, not long after Creed 3, and I think not long after Ant-Man Quantumania. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I'm butchering what movies he was in, but he was supposed to be the big baddie of basically the follow-up to Thanos, and then, are you reading anything about this right now? And then he gets arrested and accused of things, and they dropped him completely from Marvel.
Yeah, I'm realizing why I knew his name. It's because in March of this year, so like last month, he was on another film set where he fell through a window.
Oh my gosh.
And it led to a bunch of the crew like walking out because there was like a bunch of safety concerns before that point that were not addressed. And so like, yeah, it's a lot of people have been talking about it because everyone's like, don't go work on this film. It's super dangerous.
Wow.
So that's why I knew his name was because I'd been hearing about that recently. So
I don't know all the details of Jonathan Major and how we've gone from Rocky 1 and 2 to this, but I don't know all the details of Jonathan Major's thing, and I can't speak either way because I haven't looked at this stuff in like 3 years about him. But I just remember like he was going to be the big baddie, the follow-up to Thanos, and then they pulled him after he was accused from that, and he's like just basically erased from memory from the Marvel universe, despite he was supposed to be the big baddie, the next Thanos, basically. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, crazy. Rocky 1 and 2, highly recommend. If you enjoy them, watch 3 and 4, and then skip 5. Just skip 5. It's okay. You will be fine, I promise. If you
just look up a summary or something.
Yeah, and it's not like it's a movie so bad it's good. It's just a movie just so bad.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. Not fun to watch. Not like a fun bad. So yeah, just skip 5. Anyway, so yeah, that's my review for this week. Rebekah, do you want to tease what we're reviewing next week so people can watch it?
Yes. What are we watching next week? We are watching a classic Canadian movie. That actually has triple residence in Canada, New York, and Los Angeles, just to be clear.
So this movie could be cast as Survivor.
It could be, yeah. But it's a classic starring Megan Fellows, I believe is her last name. It was made in the...
Bro, just say the name of the movie.
I was teasing it.
No, just say it. I want people to watch it.
All right. It's the Anne of Green Gables, the Canadian... I don't know if it's a miniseries. It's a movie. I'm reviewing the first movie. I think there was like 3 or 4 of them that they made, but the first one's like 3 hours long or something. So, anyway. But yeah, so we're reviewing Anne of Green Gables. It's a childhood classic that I haven't seen in forever. So I'm looking forward to discussing it next week.
I recently watched Anne of Green Gables 1 and 2 this year. So we'll have your perspective of somebody who watched it as a child and me who watched it as a grown man with my wife who watched it as a child. She watched as a child. We'll get our perspective. So really, I'll say next week we're mainly reviewing 1, but we will talk about 2 as well. Because like Rocky, okay, so here's a good example. Okay, so you know Anne of Green Gables 2 picks up right where Anne of Green Gables 1 left off? That's how I feel about Rocky 2. Though I think Rocky 2 is a better movie, where I don't think Anne of Green Gables 2 is a better movie than 1. Again, teaser for next week. But
yeah, we'll get into it. I have some thoughts.
I came full circle. I tied it all together.
That's beautiful. Good storytelling.
And I'm going to throw out there,
round of applause.
If you're here at the end of the podcast, I know we always joke that we record for like 50 hours or whatever. This is one podcast. I feel confident that we recorded the entire thing. I'm not going to cut anything out of it. So I think for probably the first time. We wondered. Hey, we wondered it like the
we
Creed
did a
fight.
wonder.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think I'm okay with everything that was said. And I don't think we went on any unnecessary side tangents. I'm going to leave everything in. So this is for once. We'll see if this happens again. We'll see if we do so well again. But yeah, I'm going to leave everything in. We'll see how it goes. But yes, for once, you're going to get basically an unedited podcast. So there you go, everybody. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right. Well, hey, that's it for this week. Tomorrow, Mass and I will be ranking all 10 remaining players. And of course, next week, Rebekah will be back to talk about the Mr. Beast Super Beware Advantage. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.